Now let's find out what the Grand Line has in store for us.
World government wants your head. This will be a great workout for my new swords.
This flag sends something to be marked or shot at!
The world is still waiting for our answer.
You heard it up top. We are riding on the merry-go as we head back into that wonderful world created by Eiichiro Oda. We're talking One Piece Season 2 Into the Grand Line here on Normies Like Us with your hosts, Captain Colin Smoker.
Mikey D. Luffy, milady.
And this is Jacob Chopper.
Ah, Jacob Chopper.
He's so
The
cute.
Straw Hat Pirates. Here we are.
Oh, shut up, you dumb bastards.
We're the Straw Hat Podcast. That's right. You know?
That's right.
Last week we did Scream, so I said, yeah, we're not going to be doing what's your favorite scary movie. It's going to be what's your favorite Devil Fruity. Not Scream 7, the Seven Lords of the Sea. And we're not going scary, we're going merry. It's One Piece Season 2 Into the Grand Line, and I'm very excited.
A pirate of the seven seas.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of a knight of the seven kingdoms, you could say.
There's actually 9
wow.
seas. Yeah.
Hmm.
The Riverlands, the Riverlands, the Riverlands,
That's right.
and the Riverlands.
That's
The East
right.
Blue, the North Blue, all the blues.
Southwest Blue.
Yeah, we've got the 4 blues and the Grand Line, which is sort of the big hook of the season. It's got this very strange subset into the Grand Line, opposed to just straight out calling it One Piece Season 2. But here we are, yeah, like we said, talking live action. We talked a little bit. So this is our second episode on it. Our last episode was in the 260s. Here we are in the 380s, returning to it. It was 3 years ago when we covered Season 1, but
3 years ago?
it feels
2023.
insane. Well, what is your guys' history as a refresher with the property One Piece?
So to jump in, I think my intro, people always told me to watch it. I never did. And I watched the Netflix and I liked it so much that I got into the show. And I've watched, I kind of fell off, but I've watched up through Alabasta.
Wow.
So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm still very far away from Wano and whatever the hell is happening nowadays. So I'm at about episode 270-ish, somewhere in there.
Oh, only like 800 to go.
Yeah. What about you, Jacob?
For me, I am probably the One Piece normie here, you could say. I'm not really a One Piece fan, but I am familiar somewhat with mostly just like the art style and the characters a little bit, but I've never watched the anime too much or read the manga or anything like that, but I did like Season 1 live action. So that's where I'm at.
And Colin, what's your history with the One Piece, the Grand Line, the King of the Pirates?
My history is the same history I have with air, that I have with breathing, that I have with just life, I would say. I've said to you guys before, and if you listen to that first episode, I talk about my long history with One Piece. I grew up with it. I've been reading it basically since the beginning, and just adore it. And to this day, of course, the highlight of my week is every week when I read the latest and newest issue.
Wow.
Nice. And that's still coming out weekly. Like, I know it's the longest running publication of all time, I think.
It's going to end one day. Right?
It is, you would imagine. It is, of course, yes, like Mike said, it is the longest running solo author written material in history. It is one of the highest selling things. It's basically second to Pokemon in sort of global popularity. Not necessarily, you wouldn't look at it and say like Marvel or DC or something that is so ubiquitous here in America. But of course, if you looked at the rest of the world, you would see that it is sort of equated to that level, right?
Yeah, it's huge, especially in Asia. Like, I equate it to like the Star Wars. Like, every kid in our generation, like, you grew up with One Piece the way we grew up with Star Wars. Like, it's a generational defining kind of seminal work, this pop culture like monument. Just, yeah, it's huge.
For sure.
It's fueling revolutions.
I was a fan of that. I was a fan of that first season on the live action show. I did not rewatch it. Have you guys ever rewatched that first season?
No. But after watching Season 2 of this, I did go back and watch a couple of the arcs that were covered in Season 2 of the live action. So I did go back. I like the first season. I went back to the anime, to just get a little bit more One Piece out of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was so watching season 2, I was like, should I start watching the anime? But I don't know if
Wow.
I want to get into something that has 1,000 episodes. I mean, that's kind of a big commitment.
That's
I
the
think in
risk, right?
between last time we talked about this in season 1 and now, I did get into a different anime called Hunter x Hunter. I don't
Another
know if I
short
talked about that
one.
last time. Yeah, so I was watching Hunter x Hunter for a while, Hunter x Hunter as I call it. Um, but One Piece is sort of a big commitment to be like, I'm going to start from episode 1 and
For
just
sure.
watch 1,000 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Again, it being the largest thing in the world. But Jacob, you bring up such an interesting point. We spent a lot of time in our last episode covering One Piece, where we sort of talked about the stigma in our generation of watching anime. I'm not sure if maybe that's why it's like not tied to you, sort of like not being into One Piece necessarily, or whatever. But and how different it is now that kids can literally just love anime and they have these adaptations. They can read manga. They've got all these
Right.
avenues side. But do either of
But
you guys have like an ongoing that you like read
mm,
or watch of anime or manga?
not too much. I
Huh.
think it kind of became cool as we were in high school, basically, or maybe
Yeah,
for me, like
right at the
when I was a
end.
younger kid, it wasn't as cool, but it started as a more niche thing and then gained popularity with things like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and all these kinds of things where it's like, oh, it slowly became cool. And maybe as we were leaving high school and the generation like right behind
Yeah.
us, it like became more mainstream. And
Well,
now obviously it's a huge thing. Yeah.
we talked a lot about how God help if you were a gay kid who played Yu-Gi-Oh! Like
Oh
the
yeah.
the most dangerous, cocktail combination in high school chemistry for our group, I would say,
Right.
our age group.
But I do have
Hmm.
a picture of the kind of kid that was into One Piece when I was in high school. Uh, and they weren't I wouldn't say necessarily cool, but there was like a group, there was like a community in my school of like anime watchers of like One Piece. Naruto was like the other big one, I feel like.
Oh, for sure.
Dragon Ball Z, like I said. But so there was the anime kids, and I wasn't really part of that group, but I was, I was friendly. I was on good terms with the anime kids,
Okay.
you could say.
Mike, 2026, one of your
Hmm.
biggest films, or I'm sorry, maybe this was 2025, I can't remember, was Chainsaw Man, the Chainsaw
Yeah.
Man
Yeah.
film, right?
Goes up
An
there.
incredible film. Are you inspired to read Chainsaw Man? Do you watch the anime? Did you burn through that season one? I cannot recall.
I did go through season 1. Like I said, I went in blind to the movie and then liked it so much I went back and watched the entire season 1 and then watched
That's
the
right.
movie again. Um,
Wow.
and I've gone on record as saying I'm not like the hugest anime fan. I do have ones that I like, Ghost in the Shell, etc. I appreciate the art form, and like going back to watch a cartoon of One Piece compared to the live action, it does have benefits. They're very different, so I recommend it. And I'm finding myself really enjoying just being in the world of One Piece, and season 2 kind of pulled me back in. And I just want to note too, when we were kids, oh, you can't like anime. Now we have, best actor in a leading role, Michael B. Jordan, talking about how he likes to do anime stuff in his movies and he loves Princess
Yeah, I love
Mononoke. So it's
anime.
couldn't be more mainstream right now.
Princess
But that's the thing
Mononoke,
is like
favorite
so
film, I
many.
said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves anime. He loves talking about it and stuff, and how like this fights in Creed 3 and stuff were
Yeah.
inspired by anime fights. And that's the thing is like a lot of millennials, people our age, grew up watching anime, and now that it's become more mainstream, it's like okay to talk about. You even have like athletes and like Miles Garrett and football players
Yeah.
that are like, yeah, I fucking love anime.
Is there, considering that we're doing a long form ongoing series right now about the works of Hayao Miyazaki, an anime director, and that monthly we are also talking about these anime films, is there a semantical difference between anime, quote unquote, these ongoing TV shows, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Naruto, versus anime films like Ghost in the Shell, Appleseed, the works of Hayao Miyazaki?
I think it's all considered anime, but
They're
it's
all just anime? I guess so,
yeah.
I
right?
guess there's
And a lot of them
subdivisions
are
where,
based on manga.
yeah.
The shows, the long running shows. For me, yeah, I was always into more specific things. Like I loved Cowboy Bebop when I was a teenager. Ghost in the
Sure.
Shell, like you said, a lot of the more critically
Hero.
acclaimed or ones that are be like these are like the best ones, and I was into those. So I was sort of a normie casual in that way, where I was dipping my toe in. But recently, and I was going to talk about this on the Whatcha in a couple of weeks here, but I've been watching some anime, some ongoing shows, or some more recent shows, I should say. So maybe I'll hold off on talking about those until
Wow.
our Whatcha. But one that I briefly talked about with you, Colin, in our chat. I'm not going to drop it now. We're going to.
We got a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Do you have like a Crunchyroll subscription, either of you guys?
No, but if on Netflix, there's like a huge amount of anime on
Mhm.
Netflix right now. So I'm kind of looking at that. I mean, they've got a little bit of everything, so that's a good place to start. Of course, Crunchyroll has a ton of stuff. Obviously, it's the number one source for in America to watch anime.
Shout out to y'all's boy Tim.
Yep.
Mr.
The king of
Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. Shout out. Tea time, Tim Liu. If anybody is intimidated by getting into One Piece, I have some numbers about different ways to watch One Piece that I'll share at the end, but there's always the One Piece, which cuts out all the filler. That's the one that I'm watching, and it saves you like 1,000 minutes or something, or 1,000 hours
That's
or
what I
something.
need. That's what I
filler.
need, because I'm not trying to watch all the filler. I just want the best parts. I don't want to watch
My
1,000
opinion is
episodes.
read it. It was created by this guy who, hand draws it himself once a week.
That's
It's
crazy.
this
That is
incredible
crazy.
feat of storytelling that I preach and pray about every day. So, that's my opinion. But
The thing for me is, even as an somewhat casual anime fan who will watch anime, I've never been a manga person. I've never really gotten into manga. I've never bought manga or read manga, really. So that's just been sort of a blind spot for me. And I'm not a big physical comics reader either. So I'm not into DC, Marvel comics necessarily. So I need my images to be moving so they can hold my attention.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that's the comp, though. Also, like, if you're an anime, you're a nerd. If you like comics, you were a nerd, and now the Avengers was the biggest thing ever. And now we're kind of getting the anime version of that coming around a little bit slower here in the West than it had, overseas. But it's
Everything
Is
that
there
was
such a
nerdy
war?
is mainstream now. Yes.
Is there as much a war in this nerd community, though, as there is between subs and dubs, as there is between manga and anime? I feel like people really don't care if you read the manga or watch the anime.
No, I feel like a lot of anime fans also read manga and vice versa. So kind of, if you're into one, you're probably into the other.
Yeah. Meanwhile, truly, people will be like, "I watched the dub," and they're like, "You should kill yourself."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been watching the Japanese version of the One Piece anime, and now that I've been studying pretty hardcore for a couple years since I last did, I'm finding myself understanding it more, and I'm like, you know what? I probably could read it, with at the reading level that it's written, kind of the shonen genre. Like, I could probably approach it and like get through like 70% of it without needing a dictionary here and there,
I think the other thing holding me back from the manga is that it's black and white, right? I like me a little color. Nothing against black and white, but I feel like the anime just adds so much color to it that it's like it's easier to
We're always
dive
telling
into.
people to watch movies older than 1990, and black and white movies are good, but not black and white books, which is most of them.
I'm not reading this bullshit.
That's true. I love black and white movies.
Fair.
No, it's just a personal thing. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself
Totally fair.
a weeb in that I'm not so much into Japanese culture, although certain things I am, but there's definitely people that are way more into it. And there's some people that only watch anime and that's like their entire media diet.
Media diet, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I've watched a lot of major ones though. Attack on Titan, watch that.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm into Korean.
The guy who walks up at a party is like, "Hey, you guys like anime? I love K-pop Demon Hunters."
Yeah.
Solo Leveling. That's like a Korean.
Interesting. Solo
anime, right?
Leveling, huge anime right now. Yeah.
Now, my favorite character in One Piece is Miss. It's gonna be Golden Week.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good pull.
No, I honestly
watching
watching
the holidays to us in this episode, but yeah,
we learned a lot of holidays.
Just watching this season, I was like, man, it's so imaginative. Everything is so like interesting that I do kind of want to watch the anime just to see to compare it to this version and see how much is taken from the anime and all that stuff.
But Jacob, just know that you are getting the best version and that you just watch the little time and shake your head and go like, they did the hairstyles. Like, there's no reason to make things look like this.
No, everyone looks insane. And as a lot of people have said, like, this has broken the sort of curse of live action anime adaptations.
Mhm.
Colin, you were a fan of the Cowboy Bebop show, right? But most
Yeah,
people
yeah.
not so much. But this show is like, except for maybe there's a certain subset that'll always be like, no, the live action sucks, like whatever.
Yeah.
But this one seems to have really been like, fans of the show are like, yeah, we like One Piece live action. Like, it's a good live action adaptation, maybe the first good one ever, according to some people. So
Right.
it's really broken through that curse.
You know, we've cracked the code a little bit on the video game adaptation, and like maybe we're right there on the new frontier of the good anime adaptation. Maybe that's where we're at, and this is the first one. But yeah,
Yeah,
I really enjoyed
this was
season
making
one.
me think: should I jump in and watch the Cowboy Bebop one season of live action and just? See
I
how
liked it
feel
until
about
the
that.
last episode. I liked it too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that assessment exactly, Mike. And who does it hurt? Like, what is it like? What metrics does it mess up for Netflix for you to watch that show, Jacob? You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
At this
It's
point,
quick.
it's been canceled.
Yeah.
I always wanted to watch it eventually. I mean, my experience with live action adaptations, it's like the Death Note movie, which was terrible. And I can't even name too many others.
Japan has some successful Full Metal Alchemist movies that are on
Mm.
Netflix. I've watched through all those. I don't know. I don't think they're that good looking.
I think Makenyu's worked with the stunt coordinator for this on the Roni Kenshin films that were live action.
That's right.
So there's like
And he's in
connections
Saint
with that.
Seiya too, Mike. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah.
But I haven't seen those, so I can't speak to their if they're good or not. But
Yeah.
Did
And
Attack
with
on
this one, I
Titan.
think you can tell that the makers of this show are obviously huge fans of the source material, and they genuinely want to do the best job they can in adapting it to live action.
Mm.
And I think that's the secret ingredient, is that you just have to try to do the best you can with that. And like that Death Note movie was so bad because I feel like they tried to change it. And the same thing is of like adapting like Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire. Like, showrunners so often want to change the story and make it their own. And it's like, if you just adapt the source material, like, it's gonna be better that way.
And there's changes made to this, which I'm sure we'll talk about some of them. Same thing with season
Yeah,
one.
I'm
There was
excited to
pretty
hear about
significant
that.
changes made to certain things to make it fit the style of a live action show, and none of the fans were ripping their hair out. They
Right.
it made sense because they're more or less being faithful to the characters in the core story. So let's look at it like this, and then we'll jump in. Season one, we covered 95 chapters, where we did Romance Dawn, Orangetown, Syrup Village, Baratier, Gaimon, and Arlong Park was our big finale, fighting Arlong, he's Grief and Nami's
right.
village. And season two, we're doing chapter 96 to 154, similar number, but we're just doing Logetown, Reverse Mountain, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and Drum Island. So 5 arcs
Wow.
this season, 6 arcs last season.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was reading online and stuff, and people are like, yeah, you'd be surprised, like, they don't get to the grand line until like 100 episodes into the show. It's in the anime and stuff. It's like pretty crazy how
Yeah.
how stretched out everything is.
Well, it's
I've
Monkey
been
D. He loves stretching.
trolling around. He does, Mike. I've been trolling around the television subreddit, like when the reviews for this dropped or whatever, and just looked at random comments of people who aren't fans, who are just experiencing the show. And one person really being like, "Is this what it is? It's just every episode he goes to a different island." I was like,
Yeah, like every 20
buckle up.
episodes.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Condensed, baby.
It's got a Star Trek structure, except instead of diplomacy, he says, "You should believe in your dreams, or you suck because you don't. Get out of here."
Yeah, he just kind of bullies people.
Yeah. And
I
then
think
becomes their friends.
The two things that always have made me reluctant or turned off to start the anime is just one, the amount of the investment of time, and then the amount of potential filler that there is, and also the art style. It took me a while to sort of be like, maybe I am interested, because the art style at first was sort of a turn off to me, where it's like, these characters look weird. I don't know if I like this. But again, the live action does a great job of adapting these characters to live action in a way that like fits who they are in the anime, but it's also obviously more realistic in terms of like proportions and things like that.
Yeah, we have to make this manageable. Like,
Yeah.
this is you're asking so much, but we're really hitting it. So let's
do it.
Let's dive in. Let's head to the grand line.
Yeah, let me just check the log post. And yeah, we're up.
We're back here on Normies Like Us. We're talking One Piece Season 2 Into the Grand Line. Mike just said log pose, a proper noun from the One Piece universe, and my heart, it healed. Whatever horrible things are going on in the world, my best friends just talked about my favorite thing, and I've never been happier.
Yeah, well, the log post is going to be
Yeah.
important right now. Yeah.
Yeah, dogs.
Certain things that I don't understand about this show, like that, like how
Doesn't matter.
the seas work in this world.
Sure.
But I love the imagination that goes into everything in this universe. And obviously Oda um had so much, imaginative imagination.
Yeah. And when I watch this show, obviously, even when I watch the anime, like, it doesn't feel like it is inherently like a Japanese work, but it feels like just its own thing, almost the way Dragon Ball just feels like its own thing. I think that's why it's easy to get into, because it just feels kind of nationality neutral. It's just an adventure story for everybody, and like the
Yeah.
live action show has really been able to capture that spirit too. So I think that's like part of its draw, you know.
Yeah.
And this season they already had the ships built. Like, you know, it's a really expensive show, and it looks expensive, and I
Yes.
think they pay off what they're paying into it. But this time they could have even a little bit more fun with some of the fight scenes and stuff, because the sets were already built. We already paid for that, baby. So now let's take it to the next level with these wardrobes and these kind of new locales that we're going to be getting into in this season.
Yeah, I can tell that it is an expensive show to make. This is something I was wondering, and we'll talk about my new favorite character, Chopper. But
Hey,
with Chopper joining the crew in season 3, won't that make it like way more expensive per episode
good
to
Lord,
make?
dog.
I'm thinking, because I mean, obviously, a computer generated
There is
character like that is so expensive to
so
make.
right.
Mike just hinted at sort of the overarching thing is that this entire show is shot in South Africa, where they have built these sets, they have built the boats, they primarily cast the extras, background actors. If you're a U5, somebody who's got a couple lines, there's a very good chance you are South African.
Mm.
And
Get Elon in
Jacob,
there.
you're talking about CGI characters, CGI superpowers.
Right.
Elon Musk was in this show. Right. And then I mean, there's a moment in this show where Sanji, the chef character, played by
Taz Skylar.
Skylar.
Taz Skylar.
Taz Skylar, who I believe in the last episode I called Skylar Aston the entire time. So huge correction here, Taz Skylar. But he walks up to a guy and purchases a thing called a bluefin elephant tuna. Okay, perfect. It's an homage to the manga. It's an homage to the show. It's a thing in that universe. It's a prop built. It's being sold by a guy who isn't just like a fishman from last season. He's what you call a Wu-Tan. He's a guy who's like a half fishman. So they're using CGI to give him scales on the top of his head and like a fishtail for hair. Why are you using CGI on a guy who has no lines in this season? Why are you doing things like that with your budget? Like, it's so crazy. They bring in a couple big actors this season too and spend money on that as well.
Yeah. And have some for the next season that barely have any scenes in this too. It's going to get more expensive next season.
Yeah, dude.
Well, obviously, and I want to get your guys' take on this, because we have our favorite Karate Kid coming in season 3, Zolo Maraduena, as a character that I don't know, but I'm sure you guys are gonna be like, wow, it's that guy. Luffy's older brother or something.
Miguel, yeah. It's his older brother Miguel.
He's coming in as Miguel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a very expensive show and expensive looking, and sometimes there's moments during fight scenes and stuff where it's like, well, this looks like volume or something in the background, but
Boy, it looks bad sometimes, but sometimes it looks great.
Sometimes
certain things with like Wapole this season, it just looks like almost like it was made with AI or something, but because there's so much zany stuff in this world, it is sort of hard to translate to live action. You have all these devil fruit powers and all kinds of just wild stuff. But I think they do a pretty good job of translating it to live action.
Yeah, like some of these sets, like whether they're on like a jungle island, like there's weird plants that they made. They do like green screen to make people look like giants. They have the giant market in Town. Like, there are some really impressive practical sets that are brand new for this season that I really appreciated. Even some of the stuff with David Dalmatian's character. Did I say it wrong?
Oh yeah, dude.
David
That's
Dalmatian.
the greatest.
Dalmatian. Yeah.
The budget acts like this is a flagship show for Netflix, which is interesting. Now, last season it stayed in the top 10 for a while. It got like 18 million views. We know now this season getting like 16 or something. So it's like not gained as many or whatever, which kind of sucks. But it's
Well, I was
like
reading that it was like the #1 most watched show on Netflix now.
I love that. It's certainly getting good viewership worldwide, but again, it seems like it's struggling in America. But I ask you, Jacob, what is a Netflix show? Because of course we joke about Wednesday, but like what is like the big Netflix show right now? Stranger Things is done.
Stranger Things is done.
Stranger Things?
This is it.
I guess so. I mean, obviously they had, K-pop Demon Hunters as a movie, but that was like the most watched thing ever on Netflix.
Right.
So they scored a
Squid
home run with
Games
that.
was huge. They ended that
Games.
after 2 seasons, and nobody liked how it ended. So
Well, there's going to be another season of Squid Games.
Oh, really?
Proper,
Yeah,
like the
pretty
game
sure.
show version.
Yeah, or like
thought
the
there was-
American version.
Oh, they're doing an American one too.
Well, there's
Yeah, David Fincher's making like
David
a movie.
Fincher. Yeah, I don't know, but I thought there was going to be a season 3 just of the main thing, but I could be wrong.
But I will
don't
say
know.
that if Stranger Things is done, I don't think they have another flagship show, at least not that I'm aware of. Maybe I'm out of the loop, but this looks better than Stranger Things' final season, and that was very expensive looking as well.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, at least that's how I feel about it.
So is their new flagship show a show with a pirate ship? Interesting.
I think
Mike.
so. It must be.
Bridgerton,
Ooh,
they have
interesting. Prices going up.
Bridgerton.
Oh, they've got Bridgerton, of course.
Well,
course
one
they've
of our
got Bridgerton.
one of our new stars comes from Bridgerton, so there you go.
Right,
It's all in the
That's right.
family.
We have Charithra Chandran, who plays Princess Vivi, first introduced as Miss Wednesday this season with the villainous organization Baroque Works. That's sort of the overarching plot of this season, is that not only have the Straw Hat pirate crew, and I'll go off and list all their names here in a second, but as they enter into a new sort of sea full of dangers, they also draw the ire of a sort of evil bounty hunting organization called Baroque Works.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean some twists and turns that I didn't see coming as not obviously an anime fan, where I was like, oh, Miss Wednesday is actually a good guy, and she's the Princess of Alabasta, which is obviously something I know a lot about.
Of course.
But yeah, I love all the introductions of all the different Baroque Works people. And again, I would just, look online and be like, what do these characters look like in the anime? And I can kind of compare them. Yeah, like Mr. 3, of course, has a big 3 in his hair, as
Absolutely.
you do.
Uh-huh.
Mr. 9, all these wild characters. And this is something I love about the show. Every 5 minutes, I'm just like, well, now who's this ridiculous looking individual and what are they all about?
Here's the big issue is that when I was writing out the names and characters for this season, you do realize you get 5 new characters per island, and that is unfortunately too many characters. And that's the strength of One Piece. My original quote that I pitched to Joe 1,000 years ago, and that I pitched in our episode when we talked about it, is the beauty of One Piece is it would be like if there was one comic book called Marvel and Spider-Man showed up for like 6 issues. And some people were like, Spider-Man's my favorite character, like without a doubt. He's like so well made and so interesting. Like the characters of One Piece, you'll see them once and be like, well, that's my guy. Like I'm all about his character design. I'm all about his abilities, but that does not necessarily mean he's a huge part of One Piece. Now we meet so many of these characters. We will meet when we talk about the Drum Island episodes. Dr. Hiriluk's speech is like the most quoted speech in all of One Piece.
Yes.
And again, he appears in like 3 chapters of a 1,000-chapter story.
That are technically flashbacks.
When I can tell...
yes, he's not a modern character.
No, he doesn't exist in the contemporary plot. Yeah.
Yes.
The Chopper origin story episode, which has the highest, I believe, the highest rated episode in terms of like if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, like
Important.
I can
Good.
tell that's like a
Good.
beloved episode within the anime
My
and
friend
within
up
the
here as
manga
we
and
talk
everything.
about him.
Tony,
That's right.
Tony.
My best friend.
Yeah.
And that was a really standout episode. I think episode 7 of season 2 was very much a standout episode to me in this show, where it's like, oh, this is such an emotional story that's completely a flashback that explains Dr. Hiriluk and Chopper and like what's going on Drum Island and all this stuff. And yeah, like the final 2 episodes of this, if you look, I was looking at like the Rotten Tomatoes by episode, and they're all like, in the 7s or 8s, and then you have these 2 which are like 8.5 and 8.6 or something, and
Hell yeah.
people loved them. So
Nice. Yeah, and that's like Colin said, that's the strength of it. Is you just meet all these characters where you could just be like, yep, that's my favorite. And with, I haven't read the manga, but like with the anime and stuff that I've been rewatching, I'm like, wow, they cut a lot of characters too. Like we still have a ton in this live action, and there's still probably like 15 more that get cut just from the anime, and I'm not even sure about the manga.
They cut every gigantic animal out of this plot. I mean, there's a giant duck that gets mentioned this season, but there's also a family of gigantic human-sized rabbits that are a huge part of the Drum Island arc that are completely cut out.
Gone.
Which again, I'm like, good. Do not put any of this stuff in. My original pitch, I was like, do not do a Little Garden. I did not think that you should do Bragi and Dory and the Giants, because that I just don't know, but they're choosing to do it, and I get very excited about that. So
well, that's what I love about this show as a newbie, because as a normie, episode to episode, it's like, okay, now we're on this little garden island. There's dinosaurs, there's giants, there's all this crazy stuff happening. Oh, now we're in this western town, Whiskey Peak, and all kinds of crazy shit is happening. It's like it jumps around like crazy, and I kind of love that, because it's just like I never know what to expect next. And like I think it works well with this 8-episode season, where it's just like it never is like, okay, I feel like we've been here too long, let's move on or something. Like it's always, because there's so much to put in it, it's just always jumping around.
As a guy who's like this his entire life, Mike calling it Star Trek, it's incredible that like the key that turned in my head as you were saying that I was like, oh, I like crews of people going to places. Like that's a thing that I am into.
Yeah.
And I've always loved that format. And I've mentioned like, Cowboy Bebop before, of like a crew of beloved characters that you love that are sort of a found family. I mean, that's what Guardians of the Galaxy is. That's what Firefly was, the sort of beloved cult show that might be coming back in some form, as Colin and I were talking about earlier. But I've always loved a crew, and generally it's like a crew of people in a spaceship going around having adventures. And this is just a regular ship. Yeah.
Who have specific jobs. I like that Scotty has a thing he's in charge of. I like that Chopper has a thing that he's in charge of. There is some sort of balance to that.
We literally have a captain, a security officer in Zoro. We have the chef with Sanji. We have the navigator. She would be, on
doctor.
Yeah, we have a doctor. We're building out a full Star Trek crew just on a boat. Wagon train to the stars, wagon train to the sea is what we got here.
Wow.
And that's what I loved about Firefly back in the day, because they all had their specific jobs and stuff. And I like when there's an overarching bigger plot going on, but then also episodic adventures within that. And that's what something like Firefly does, and that's what certain Star Trek shows do that more than others, right? But I like
one of
that
the Firefly jobs is courtesan.
Basically high class prostitute, of course.
that would be my job in One Piece.
I'm
a prostitute.
Yeah. But I love
bills.
Firefly back in the day, because it had the Wild West theme, and it was that space western, which again is what Cowboy Bebop is, which I always compare to Cowboy Bebop and Firefly. But something about space westerns really does it for me. And then having that crew on the ship of the misfits, found family, and that's what One Piece is all about. Is like they're kind of all misfits, and they become this family, and they all love each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's strong about
please go ahead.
Because we can list our crew. I just want to say we have everybody that has a focused goal. Luffy wants to be king of the pirates. Sanji wants to find the all blue. Zoro wants to become the greatest swordsman. Nami wants to find the world map. And Usopp wants to be the bravest warrior. Right? They have a clear goal that they're chasing throughout the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just said them, but let's list off the cast. It's Anaki Godoy as Monkey D. Luffy, Emily Rudd as Nami, Makenyu as Rorono Zoro, Jacob Romero Gibson as Usopp, and Taz Skylar as Sanji.
Yes, indeed. What
That's
a
right.
cast! I think we liked them all season 1, and they're still doing it in season 2, maybe even
They
better
kind
than
of
ever.
step up this season. I really enjoyed all the writing. I think my standout still is Sanji. I think he just absolutely crushes this season. Taz
Yeah.
Skylar.
Yes, I like Sanji. I just like their chemistry too as a group, and they have different pairings of like when they get to Little Garden, they're like they split off and they can kind of do their individual pairing stories. But so you have like Zoro and Sanji stuff. You have, you know, Nami and Vivi. You have all kinds of these different pairings that have different, or like Nami and
Usopp.
Usopp. Yeah. So, but I like all of them. You know, they have just a great group dynamic.
But that's a classic Star Trek formula too. It's like, what if we did an episode where Worf and someone else get stranded on a planet? Now they get a twofer, right? Yeah.
Right.
So it's a good setup.
And that's something, yeah, Deep Space Nine especially was good at that, because I feel like TNG,
yeah.
it was so Picard focused a lot of the times that it didn't. Some of the crew got, you know, short shifted. So I like when it's not so captain focused and you get to know like the different characters in the crew as
Man,
well.
I just watched My Man Bashir the other day.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
It's like, it's just
The
crazy
James Bond
how good.
parody
But just
Deep Space Nine episode.
talk about writing character interactions well, like
Mhm.
what that show, like you're saying, was able to accomplish of like, no. When these two characters talk together, this is how this goes. You're just like,
Right.
oh, it's delicious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have Bashir and Chief O'Brien friendship and all that stuff, and you have Garrick and
I was gonna say Gay Taylor.
Yeah, we love it.
Garrick the Gay Taylor. Yeah.
Genocide.
But
Mhm.
One Piece, yeah, I feel like I love all the main crew members, and I like the new additions as well. Like I think Vivi was a great addition,
Yeah.
adding another female character, because it's a little male dominated with just Nami at first, but now
She
you
calls
have
it out. We need another
Yeah.
girl on this crew bad, she says.
Right.
It's great.
Right.
And Vivi fits in so well, and the reveal of her being a good guy too, with the Whiskey Peak and everything, that kind of blew my mind, because I was like, oh, it's just another Baroque Works agent or something. And the whole Whiskey Peak episode I was a fan of. So yeah.
We get a lot laid. I'll go ahead and spoil the twist. We said it before, Princess Vivi. We get
Mhm.
this sort of ground lay the entire season of newspapers talking about the missing princess of Alabasta, the missing princess of Alabasta. Garp's talking about it. These countries are about to go to war. We get a lot of retroactive writing. There's things that didn't appear for 500 chapters for me that are mentioned in these seasons of like what the reverie is, sort of the meeting of the kingdoms, the world government. We're setting up again this larger world that you really would not have had an insight into if you're sort of watching this in a linear progression or reading the story that way.
Yeah.
And you just get these incredible payoffs, Jacob. Like I agree with you, even being a guy who, you know, knows this is coming, but reading it or watching it and being like, oh man, they're setting up Vivi so fucking well. Like I was so into it.
Yeah.
And even in season 1, they were setting up Baroque Works with
Mr. Seven.
Trying to recruit
Zoro
Zoro.
like killing one of them in like his first episode. And it's like, oh, these Baroque Works people, they're going to come in soon, and that's, you know, it's going to blow your mind.
Even some of the Garp Luffy stuff that they did in season 1, or Cody stuff, is like came way later. So it's cool that they're able to bring that in, and that's similar to what they do with One Piece. Is they'll take a side arc that happened in episode 500 and bring it up if it makes sense to add it into like an earlier arc, like a Logetown or a Reverse Mountain, the same way that these showrunners are. So it's kind of a similar experience if you want to try the anime.
And so, yeah, basically after, like, once they defeat all the Baroque Works, there's like still huge amount of storylines after that they can do, right? Like that's pretty early on in the anime, right?
Yeah.
There's so many conversations now going on. Like Makenyu has gone on and said, like, I'll do this for 100 years. Like, I understand that, like, if we were supposed to do the full story, that's how long it would take, especially if it's 3 years between seasons. They've gone on record saying that is not going to be the norm, by the way. Most of season 3 are shot by now.
Yeah, with Netflix, that's the major concern of like, how long is Netflix going to keep it going? Because they don't like to, well, there's also this whole thing of like, shows generally a lot of times will get canceled after the 4th season because they don't want to, that's when the actors can renegotiate their salaries and get a pay bump. And so
You're
to avoid
done.
that, they end the show after 4 seasons, which is kind of a
Now,
bummer. Even if it's a very popular show, they'll do that. So that's what I'm more worried about.
so Eiichiro Oda, who is the mangaka who, of course, created One Piece, this entire world, is the voice and executive producer behind this entire series, did have an original plan around Alabasta, a little bit after it, to be like, if I get canceled, 100 issues into this thing, here's how I could kind of end it. I would assume he is figuring out a way to adapt that now to the live action.
Yeah. Have you heard
Because,
rumors
how are
where
you
they'll cut it
gonna?
off, Colin?
In my heart, I have a place that makes the most sense for them to be like, this doesn't end anything, but it sets everybody up to be like, look at what this story could have been, and that is what I want. But I also
I think
don't
the
I think it'll be
problem.
canceled before it gets there. But
Okay,
yes, go
okay.
ahead.
The problem is it has to end with Luffy
Him being
getting
the
the
Pirate
One
King.
Piece.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
It still
true.
hasn't
which
happened in
I
the
which I also want
original.
to say, I want to talk about this real quick. I am 36 years old.
Hmm.
I have been reading this story for 26 years of my life, and I know it inside and out. I've reread it 3 times, I believe, to get up to a certain chronology of points. It has now been,
Yeah.
300 chapters since I even attempted that. Like I said, we're well past 1,000 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to discuss things like the Pirate King. What is the One Piece? What is the Will of D, which is something that gets mentioned.
Yeah,
And
that
I
comes up.
want you all to understand, I still do not have answers for those things. And we are 1,000 issues into that. I
Yeah.
have theories. I have what I consider to be the truth of what this series means. Again, I've talked a lot about how the message of this story is really more like a religious text to me, and then I think
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of it is sort of like open to like interpretation of what I think is going on. And of course, again, to emphasize, as Jacob, I'm sure you have the fear in your heart all the time with the George R. R. Martin situation.
Yeah.
I am so worried that this man will die one day and that I will not get an answer for something that I have now unfortunately dedicated most of my life to.
The
That's what I was
Church
gonna
of
say, 'cause, like,
Piratology.
this
Yeah.
is like You're a Song of Ice and Fire, except the creator
Yes.
actually seems to be working towards the end.
Except he is like he
Yeah.
every week does something to be like, I promise the finish line is within distance. And
Yeah.
almost every 3 years he says, I think I'm about 3 years from wrapping this up. And he has been saying that since I was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
That is like George R. R. Martin, who was saying in 2016,
Yeah.
I think The Winds of Winter will be coming out sometime this year.
I'm
Cut
getting
to
close.
10 years later, it's still no timeline on that. And the crazy thing with The Song of Ice and Fire is Winds of Winter is not the last book. It is the second to
No.
last book. So there's still a whole
No.
other book after
It
that,
would
potentially.
it would
Mhm.
be like if at the end of One Piece he next week was like One Piece 2, and you're like, well, no. See,
No, hold
like
on.
it took
Yeah.
you your life to do this. You cannot do this again. Yeah.
Right.
It's a mission impossible. The one piece is actually 2 pieces that you put together. It's always a 2-piece MacGuffin at the
gee.
end.
It unlocks
Yeah.
the
Now,
entity.
I also did just tell you guys, he just broke the record. He has sold 600 million copies circulated of One Piece. It's just an incredible feat. He
Mhm.
celebrated that by writing what the One Piece is, a la Gold Roger, who of course kicks off this series saying, go out, find my treasure, find the One Piece. He
Mhm.
videotaped himself. Again, Eiichiro Oda does not show his face. There's not much documentation
So
of
it's
what
like
he
a
looks
fish,
like.
right?
He's an incredibly private person. He's like the J.K. Rowling of Japan. I mean, he is the richest creator of a thing. So he has chosen to be like, do not look at me, or like, please do
Sure.
not like kill my children or anything,
It's like
Smart
Banksy.
man. Exactly. But did record a video with his drawn fish that he uses as his sort of signature, as moniker,
Mhm.
and released the One Piece into an unknown ocean in Japan, into the lowest depths ever, and asked us all to go find the secret and the answer to what the story is. So,
Well,
What's
looks like we're
that?
going to have to become pirates for real.
Yeah.
so the
Yeah,
great
what's that
age of piracy is here.
Yeah, no, I need to just get that company that took that billionaire down. They could get us to the depth, right? What was it
That's
called?
right.
Ocean
They'll get
Master,
it
whatever.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get James
They'll figure it out.
Cameron.
Ocean
I
Gate.
trust
James Cameron, honestly, would be the one to choose to help you out.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would love
One
if he
Piece
found
fan.
it and was like, it turns out I'm a huge One Piece fan. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yep.
But when you say there's characters that show up in this show. Like at one point, a guy named I believe Monkey D. Dragon shows up, and I know he's a big deal for fans. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, who's this guy now that shows up for
And
5
it's-
seconds?
And it's almost illegal that they do that. Like, truly, I'm
Yeah.
as a kid, like, or watching this going like, well, don't even get into this. Like, this isn't worth it. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Stop.
But watching the anime, he does show up where he shows up in Logtown. Like
That's exactly
they
how
did
it
that
happens,
one
dog.
exactly how it happened.
shows up,
Unfortunately,
says
it's the
something
story.
very
Cryptic.
cryptic, and
That
then
makes
disappears. And
it almost, Mike, it feels like you're watching a Shaw Brothers movie when Dragon speaks in this. The strange dubbing that occurs, I'm like, I actually enjoy it because of that.
The world is
Yeah.
waiting for a response. Yeah, and that's exactly what the line is in the anime. Like,
Like,
I don't know what that means.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
he shows up to be like a Deus Ex Machina and save Luffy for 5 seconds.
Also,
Yeah.
tell you this: I'm 36 years old. I have no idea why he said that. I have no
We
idea
still
what
don't know.
that means.
Yeah.
But even the line too, we don't want to interfere with another. Who are we to interfere with another man's journey? Like that's the exact line from
right.
the anime, you know, just
That's right.
translated. So, and I
Yeah,
guess
I'm going to be asking you guys like what how does it differ from the anime at points and stuff. But yeah, we can get into like the specifics of the plot and stuff.
Yeah.
is that a good
Islands,
place to
islands.
jump in, Logtown? Because as we're on our way to the Grand Line, we realize, hey, we're running low on supplies. It's kind of the opening scene of the show almost. They're like, look, we need supplies before we get to the Grand Line. It's pretty dangerous. Logtown's where there's a lot of Marines, but guess what? It's also where Goldie Roger, King of the Pirates, was born and died. You want to see that, don't you, Luffy? He's like, hell yeah, I do. So they take
Hell yeah.
a detour to Logtown to get supplies and check out the birthplace and resting place of Goldie Roger. And there might be some Marines around, so we got to keep a low profile. And that's kind of the setup for Logtown in all three mediums.
That's right.
I always
Yeah, we have,
compliment, Oda's writing real quick. Logtown, prologue, epilogue, beginning and the end. That's what I
That's
fit in
right.
there.
The beginning and
Yeah,
the
he
end
has a
of
lot
all
of
pirate.
surprisingly has a lot of English puns and things with names and stuff that's like you would think there would be more Japanese names, but they all have like specific English names, like Monkey D. Luffy and like his grandfather Monkey D. Carp or whatever his name is.
Or Smoker. What's he do? You know?
Smoker. Yeah.
Right.
I
Could do
love
anything.
Smoker. I love that he smokes 2 cigars at once. That was very funny to me.
That's
He's always
right.
got 2 cigars in his mouth.
Comic accurate. Yep.
Yeah. It rules.
But yeah, we meet him here too. So yeah, we got this kind of little shopping thing, and this is kind of how it is. Zoro's looking for some new swords. Sanji wants some food. I can't remember what Nami's doing. And then Monkey D. Luffy's looking for
She just wants clothes.
She wants clothes. Yeah, don't you deserve something nice? Sanji says in live action after all your hard work.
Yeah.
Her and Usopp go shopping. He buys those goggles. It's like a whole thing.
That's
They-
right.
And the outfits in this show
Crazy.
are incredible in that they're
The
like
costumes are insane.
so
They're
comic
colorful.
accurate and so like they change multiple times throughout the season. Like everyone has multiple outfits that they wear. They don't just
Every
have like, one
episode.
thing.
Every
Yeah.
episode, they wear a completely
They all have
different
their, like, winter
outfit that's an
coats and
homage
shit.
to very
Yeah.
specific, like color spreads,
Right.
homage covers, things like that. The Luffy's neighbor's outfit that he wears with his own Jolly Roger on the corner, that's a baseball jumper. That is an homage to a Shonen Jump cover. That it means nothing.
Yeah. Like
And at the end, he's wearing Nami's coat, and the sleeve gets ripped and all that stuff. That's from
straight
the
out of it.
comic and everything.
And
It's
like the
incredible.
colorways are coming from some of the anime episodes, and like Sanji's got that apron with that panda that shows up a lot. That's straight out of.
Doki.
yeah.
Yep. And so I want to shout out,
Everything that
do-
Nami's
Wearing.
wearing different Nami outfits from the show and everything, and just how the amount of detail that they have to be like, yeah, we're going to do as much as we can to look like the show is crazy.
Yeah, so I want to shout out Diana Sillers, who is the head costumer for this show. And I've been watching a lot of Vanity Fair stuff behind the scenes, and she's like, yeah. So then we had to make this this outfit and this outfit. And we picked these silver materials for Vivi's shorts because she's like a princess and they should be shiny. And I'm like, you're going so crazy.
You're doing so good. Your job is incredible.
She's like,
the production
Oda told
design
me
as well. Now,
yeah, it's great.
I would assume in South Africa you can literally just build a town out of like 2x4s. Like Whiskey Peak looks like they literally just like put that town up. But Lobetown as well, you know, these little shops that they've thrown together everywhere. Like the art direction's incredible.
Yeah, there's like these. It's like a split intersection. There's interiors. There's the town square. Like it's incredible. Yeah. It's like a circus going on.
They decided to do these things. Now they've put in the background all these wanted posters that are homages to great characters you'll see in the future. They're also doing something where they introduce my fourth favorite character in One Piece canon, Bartolomeo the Cannibal, who's this guy who you learn, again, when I was a senior in college, was around when Luffy did this incredible feat and sort of escaped certain death. And instead they're like, well, let's write him in as like a huge character and give him like a whole storyline with Luffy. And Luffy will really directly inspire him. Like, I'm so into that change.
Oh, that's the green hair guy who's like trying to rob him. And then like Luffy's so aloof as it is.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
Nami teaches
who the hell is this guy?
Like, you're a horrible thief. Here's how you do it. He's like, I'm actually a big deal around here. They're like, you're a loser.
Yeah, that was great. And I had no idea that he was he wasn't really involved until later.
He just like catches himself in the mirror at the end. He's like, dreams.
He sees the wanted poster and tries on the smile. Yeah.
Yeah. What's he all about? And then obviously, Bunny the Clown or whatever his name is.
Buggy.
You know what his name is.
You know what it is.
Bunny. Oh, Bunny.
Yeah.
It's a Luffy recurring bit. He never gets anybody's name correctly. And just
except Alvida.
Names for people.
I like,
you remember her name.
But even
he gets Buggy's name right, and then Alvida shows up and he's like,
but it's a good
you met her once.
Yeah, it's a good bit.
So let's talk devil fruits for a second, because in the last season, season 1, we got introduced to sort of what's the power system of this world. It's kind of the prevailing way characters will have abilities. This is a shonen manga we should talk about. Typically boy-oriented mangas are battle mangas that are basically about these fights. That kind of gets toned down a little bit, although obviously we get a ton of combat in this show, but it's typically about these abilities versus each other, and then mindsets and willpower, sort of like who comes out on top is sort of the prevailing thing that One Piece is about. And in last season, we only got 2 devil fruits. We got the gum fruit, the rubber fruit that Luffy ate, and the chop fruit, the splitting ability that Buggy ate. Here right away, we're getting reintroduced to Luffy's ability. We're getting shown the chop fruit again with Buggy's introduction. And then we're seeing a previously shown character who has now eaten a devil fruit, as Captain Alvida has eaten the slip fruit.
Yes, that's right. We're scaling the power
and I know
up.
In the anime, she loses a lot of weight because she eats that fruit between appearances. And actually the actress did lose weight from season 1, specifically for that sort of transformation. Yeah. So
slipped off her. She looks
good
wonderful.
on her for that. Yeah.
Yep. So we're getting those, and eventually we do meet Smoker, and it's like, oh, he's got a devil fruit. So yeah, we're getting a lot more devil fruits this season. You're right, even just in Logetown.
Smoke fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see, in the bigger
smoke 2
world, the
cigars.
further they go into danger, the more common these devil fruit abilities will become.
Right.
The Arlong Park, like the end of season 1 is really, the crossing the threshold moment. Like we're meeting such bigger dangers, such stranger threats that we couldn't even imagine in the East Blue. Like we really are entering into a larger world here, starting with Logetown. And I think it's a great setting for the first episode and a great reintroduction to the world and setting up the stakes for what's to come. I like this episode series a lot.
And I think this is partially why I liked this season better than season 1, because season 1 was so origin story focused, where it's like every crew member had to have their origin story and how they joined the crew and everything. And by the end of it, they're finally a crew together and they face off against the big bad and stuff. Now it's like they have this established dynamic as a crew, and so we know who all these characters are, so they can just get into just different adventures and stuff.
Not having 5 backstories in a row, Jacob, is why Chopper's backstory works. Like it being its own standalone is this whole season is why you're like, yo, that was awesome, in the same way that you kind of get Vivi's, but we'll get more of hers next season.
Yeah,
you get a little bit
I think
of hers,
Chopper and Vivi are kind of the two big additions in terms of characters. And obviously they sort of join the crew over this episode, but you have the established core of our five characters from season 1 that are kind of all together now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we kind of know what their deal is. Again, their archetypes are good. I really appreciate like that Sanji is like less like, I guess, lewd than the anime, at least. Like he's always like hard eyes, like Auga, and I like that he's still like a womanizer, but he's like respectful. Like he
Yes.
you know, I like that they tone that down, and he's more of a kind of a gentleman. I like show Sanji more than anime Sanji.
They make Usopp a lot less of a screw up coward too. Like they
I love
give him
Usopp's arc
genuine
this
moments of trying. Nami, they make a lot less.
She's like a
she's very
like a cat burglar. She's a lot less. I mean, she's good at that, but she's less. I don't know, trickstery.
She's very also sexually suggestive in like a lot of like incredibly intense ways.
Well, I was gonna say, like,
let's actually make her a character.
Let's dial that down.
One thing I know about One Piece from the artwork and the character design and stuff, it's a lot of very voluptuous women and things like that, and the way that they're always wearing bikinis and stuff in the show. And so they toned that down a little bit to make it more realistic, but still staying true to her outfits and stuff in inspiration wise, with her like yellow skirt that she wears and stuff like that. But it's not always like, oh, she's like wearing bikini tops all the time.
She fights more, like she jumps into the fight to fight Alvida this season with her, you know, bow staff, her extendable staff constantly. They just make her a lot more well-rounded.
Yeah,
they all have their specialties when fighting and stuff. Sanji only uses his legs basically. Zoro, of course, is a world-class sword fighter. Usopp is the marksman. And then, like I said, Nami has her staff. Yeah.
Vivi's got these weird knife blades. I like that Sanji, uses only his legs so he can keep his hands safe for cooking. He doesn't want to fuck his hands up.
Yeah.
He takes talent, skill, you know, what does he say? And then Zoro's like, you're nothing like me. And he's like, I just said that because I've got talent, skill. And, just sort of like.
But he says, I cut things that are still alive, is what Zoro says.
That's right. Yeah, that's great.
I love their relationship.
Now,
it's a great crew. So anyway,
We've got a little more to talk about in this episode because I do want to talk about the Luffy moment, but just because we're on Zoro, I want to talk about his moment at the sword shop where he goes to Yapanmitsu and sort of starts to get hustled. He's told by Nami that he has to haggle, something he's sort of not used to. And he goes and he bumps into Tashigi, who is this ensign in the military, a petty officer, we're about to find out, right? Not that he's aware, but sort of gets this assistance. But do you just fucking love this scene with the cursed blade? I mean, is that just like incredible or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Zoro is also like one of my favorite characters in this show, and I think I love his trademark 3 sword fighting style where he puts one sword in his teeth when he really needs to go all out with the 3 swords. It's so over the top, but just him wearing his 3 swords around all the time, I love that. He's obviously got the Wado Ichi, whatever it's called.
Ichimoji.
Yes.
But family blade that he got from a friend, we learned in his backstory. Then he's got 2 that have been destroyed by the world's greatest swordsman, Mihawk, who he'll later sort of be haunted by, right?
I like that addition.
He just fights him with one little tiny blade, and he's like, you're not on my level. But yeah, so he gets 2 new swords from the sword shop, and you have these great interactions with Tashigi. I loved all that stuff.
It reminds him of his childhood friend.
Tattoo.
But yeah, the classic scene where he flips the sword into the air, puts his arm out. Let's see how lucky I am.
Oh yeah,
classic.
Your curse versus my luck.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think Makenyu does a great job as Zoro, and I mean, again, all the fight scenes I think are really, I like the way they're choreographed and stuff like that. And again, they sort of emphasize the zaniness and people flying around and all kinds of stuff.
They're cartoony, but I suspend my disbelief. He got buff as hell. Everybody's buff now.
We get 2 cheesecakes in the last episode where you really see how hard everybody else worked, but Makenyu is on a completely different.
When you see him shirtless, I was going to say Luffy.
Insane.
Luffy's really matured between season 1 and now. Like, he's really grown up. Obviously, Luffy is like basically a kid in the show, and doesn't age necessarily in the anime, or maybe he does because I'm not familiar with it. But
There's a
obviously they
time
can't
skip at some
stop.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, just 2
Okay.
years basically.
Oh, okay.
But they
16 to
can't
18.
stop
Yeah.
Aneki Godoy from aging, but I think he still looks great as Luffy.
It's
Um,
incredible.
yeah.
Well, I need to shout out Taz Skyler because he's turned his whole thing into like a brand. Have you seen this? This isn't a plug for anything, but he's
Oh, yeah.
created like a fitness app because he's like, I busted my ass to look this good and get ready for the show. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. So I want to like
Sure.
help people with doing that. So he has like a whole fitness
I mean,
thing now.
Oh, that's
You
cool.
talked about it in our last season, and Mike, but when Jacob and I were like, "Oh, which crew member would you want to be? The badass martial artist who fucking makes incredible food,
cooks,
which is a
yeah.
lot like you, but a guy
Yeah.
who trained in capybara and then did that for like, let's say, like 4 hours a day, and then while studying and rehearsing for this show and learning your lines, he then would take like 5-star chef classes and like learn to like cook all the crew meals and stuff and like feed the entire like cast and stuff. So just again, the level of commitment is insane.
Yeah.
What if the bear was a pirate man who kicked? You know, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a lot less stressed out. Yeah. So, yeah, shout out to all the work that the entire cast put in to be able to do these fight scenes. And, you know, it's not just the main crew, it's everybody on the peripheral too. So,
But basically, so for the rest of this episode, we get this small fight between the Iron Pirates, led by Alvida, Buggy's pirates teaming up, getting revenge on Luffy, as he's very much wanted to see the execution platform of Gold Roger. He's been lured into this trap and then taken up there personally to be beheaded by Buggy.
Right.
And this is where we get, again, one of the most famous moments in the series, which is this recurring motif of people who laugh when they are about to die. And this is called out directly by Captain Smoker, who says to Tashigi, "You don't understand. He laughed. I was there that day when
Just
Gold
like
Roger
Gold
was
D.
executed."
Rogers,
He
aka
did
Gold
the
Roger.
exact same thing. Gold D. Roger.
that's
Yeah.
right. And yeah, we
He
get this
laughs in the
famous.
face of death.
That's right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm already dead. He laughs in the face of death, and we get this lightning strike out of nowhere, which is how it always goes down. You know, it's not a change or anything. He just somehow.
He explodes.
Yes. And yeah, Buggy explodes, and then Luffy everyone's witnessing this, like, oh my God, he just cheated death. What's going on with the Straw Hat guy?
Yeah, and this is for the first episode to get two recurring villains back from season 1. I think that's a good way to start off, where you have Buggy and Alvida coming back. It's like, oh, I remember those characters. And then, you know, this is right before they go into the Grand Line and have a bunch of new adventures. So it's a good way to start the season.
It's fun stakes building, and you can tell that these people are fans of these sort of like battle manga, or, you know, these sort of like children's structures of how to do things, of being like, if it took you the whole season to defeat these bosses, the start of the next one, they should again be able to just knock those bosses out to show you how much more they're going to grow or whatever. And it's
Right.
very well executed.
Yeah, and then in the next kind of arc, we're introduced to another subset of threats, you know, that are
Bigger
the next
threat.
level.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, we can handle this. What are we up against next? You know, it's very good structuring. So yeah, the Log Town's good. They make a getaway. They get to their ship, and they're like, all right, let's go. We're gonna enter the Grand Line, which begins the Reverse Mountain kind of arc, the second main
That's
one
correct.
of these, which is involves Laboon the whale and driving the boat up a mountain somehow. Reverse mountain. How do we do it? That's kind of our big obstacle.
This is where I'll be the most annoying. So, Jacob, to explain again, because you said you were confused about the structure of this world. So, it's one planet. It's all covered in water.
Right.
That planet is
different islands. Yeah.
Well, that planet is split directly down the middle by a mountain range called the Red Line. It is a solid ring landmass. It is the only continent that is fully together. It is so big and treacherous, nothing can exist on it. But so imagine your planet is now split into two, correct?
Yeah.
You then have, in between that, an entryway that is that little X into the Red Line, called this thing the Reverse Mountain. Now that gets you into the Grand Line. What is the Grand Line? That's what this entire season is about. Now, Nami quickly explains it in this top scene here, but just to clarify,
Compasses don't
to
work here. You need a
Well,
log.
to people that won't understand, it is a slipstream of sea that runs parallel to the red line. So if the red line is vertical, the Grand Line itself is horizontal. That is what splits the world into 4 pieces. Those 4 pieces are the North Blue, East Blue, South Blue, West Blue. Those are the 4 oceans that correspond the entire world. Now, there are land masses inside those 4 oceans that are islands where people exist. That is where Luffy is from. We learned the East Blue, that entire last saga is these people who exist on these little islands. They then need to get into the Grand Line, which is as I said, a island system that is a huge piece of current that is gigantic. I mean, is full of also a million little islands that are, let's say as big as New York City, some of them, like all these giant land masses, that is surrounded by what's called the Calm Belt. So that is a dead sea where there's no wind, the Grand Line, a dead sea where there's no wind. So Calm Belt on either side. That means that you cannot directly drive your boat into that, because if you only can travel by ship and there's no wind, you would enter a sea where there was no wind and you would get swallowed by a giant sea monster, which, if you recall, exists because in season 1, that's what Luffy defeats to escape the island that he lives on, right? So you have to go into Reverse Mountain, which is the break point of the red line where there is an entryway. And I'll describe that now, which is a huge causeway that shoots up. It's a sort of jet stream of water that pulls you up a mountain opposed to cascading down, right? And that pulls you up into this large sea, which then means you enter the Grand Line, where there is, of course, an actual weather system. But again, to exit it, you would have to go out either Calm Belt on either side, or go completely around the world, which, if you follow the Grand Line, is the path to be the Pirate King. Now, again, I'm sure none of that makes sense. But if you look at the maps and how he has created this structure, I promise you it is something he stays true to the entire storyline. So it does make sense in the context of the world.
To me, it was like the Grand Line has been talked up so much, and it's like so challenging that even getting in there is like a challenge, where you have to go down go up the Reverse Mountain, and then without crashing. And then obviously when they do get to the Grand Line, they run into this whale named Laboon, who swallows the ship and most of the crew except for Luffy. And then of course Luffy meets a guy named Crocus, who I'm sure you guys are familiar with.
Yes. I was wondering when I first started watching the anime after season 1 ended, and I'm like, oh, here's Laboon. I wonder how they're going to handle this in live action. And I think they did a pretty good job overall. I like this series of episodes.
This is another thing where they have a ton of foresight, where they can actually inject a lot more complex storytelling with Laboon that pays off into the larger One Piece narrative than you would think, showing that entire pirate crew that dropped him off, the Rumbar pirates. That's, again, something I didn't learn till I was in high school. If this was something that I saw when I was like 10 years old, basically the entire Laboon arc. So again, it has this interesting kind of payoff, I promise you. I loved this. Crocus, great character. This was a fan campaign for Danny DeVito to play this character, and it did get word to him. I did see on a It's Always Sunny panel, and he was like, "I don't know what that is, so probably not." So the odds that he would ever go to South Africa, in
the anime, he's a Danny DeVito looking kind of guy.
He's just got that kind of energy. And
he doesn't
he's just an old man who's crotchety.
Yeah.
He's a lighthouse keeper exactly like this.
Okay, yeah. The actor they did get, Clive Russell, who of course I know as the Blackfish, Brynden Tully from Game of Thrones.
Oh, is that who it is? Oh, that's
Catelyn Stark's uncle.
Nice.
The Blackfish. Clive Russell. And he's got his signature feathers coming out of the back of his head or whatever that is.
Yep.
And he's a lighthouse keeper, and he sort of watches Laboon, who was left there by that pirate crew. And so you get Laboon flashbacks, which this was already like breaking my heart, little Laboon, seeing little baby Laboon, and then he kind of gets left behind, and he's so sad.
Because they promised to come back, and then they haven't made it back yet. And so we see that Laboon, as an adult, has been crashing his head into the mountain, trying to get to the other side, hoping he could find his friends, his old pirate crew. And I guess like we didn't find out like who this violin man was until like Thriller Bark-ish, which is like episode 440. So like to bring that in and show like the connection he had. Yeah.
Because I know that guy, he's like the skeleton face looking guy with the top hat, right?
Guys,
Afro.
Guys.
Can't wait to find out. But that's like
he's my namesake. I'm named after him.
There we go. Yeah.
That's right.
But it really affects like the resolution of this episode, because in the anime at least, Luffy just like starts punching Laboon and it's like, hey man, it's a draw. And we're going to fight again later. Don't you forget it. And so stop banging in this mountain until I come back to fight you again, and we'll find out who's stronger, as opposed to like singing this song and kind of this appeal to Laboon's emotion.
They sing the song Banksaki. It's an original song written by Oda that has just a huge amount of mythology woven into the One Piece world. This is a large recurring motif, this song. So very important to the story.
Yeah, and I was thinking with all this whale stuff, I was like, this is all in the anime and stuff, Laboon the whale and all that stuff. I was just like, wow, this is crazy.
He does punch him directly in the eye in both. Yeah.
Well, he starts out by trying to fight him, and then he realizes like it's easier to sing to him, and then he'll let the crew go. And then they paint the skull and crossbones on him, which is very cute. The straw hat, Jolly Roger.
Don't you scratch that paint off?
Let's talk anime changes a little, because it's homaged at the end when Usopp says, hey, you should think about living in him. That Crocus is shown to actually have a house and exists in Laboon. Like that is something that already does. It's also not that he swallows them. There is no separation of the crew here. There is no introduction of the Baroque Works agents this sort of early. This is set up in a great way. We need these storytelling challenges of Luffy needs to lose his crew here. He needs to be acting alone as a captain to see what the responsibilities and choices of a captain have, and that he affects people. He needs to hear this story from Crocus of Crocus convincing the Rembar pirates that the Grand Line equates a level of danger that they have not seen before. And to take someone innocent into that is to take responsibility onto yourself. And what Luffy is doing as captain is taking his crew into the most dangerous sea. And does he have the responsibility to protect them? That's a question that will be asked for the rest of this series. Can Luffy protect the people that are most important to him?
Yeah. Now, can he deliver? Yeah, I think that's great, because Laboon was a baby when they had to kind of leave him. So it's like, Crocker says, if you take him there, he's very likely going to die. Yeah, that's a good point, Colin. I love
Innocence perishes in the pirate world. You are a pirate. Do you understand that? And this is a challenge to him as a happy-go-lucky, innocent idiot to be like, well, no, it's always going to be fun. And it's like, no, there are many times where you will, in fact, be defeated and killed, basically.
Yeah, and he got a little taste of that with Smoker. Like, he was cooked until Dragon stepped in. So he's been humbled a little bit already.
Yes, he was cooked by Buggy until
lightning,
maybe the same person stepped in. But that the Deus Ex Machinas set up in Logtown are literally to be like, it's almost like that Spider-Man joke in Family Guy of like, everybody gets one. It's like you are on this road that is game over with one mistake. Do you understand that? And it's about reaching that maturity to understand that. The whole series, honestly.
Of course, he never steps down from a challenge, but as someone with devil fruit powers, now he's meeting more and more other people with devil fruit powers, and so he can't just defeat them as easily as he used to. So he's got to learn, like, you can't just go headlong into every problem and try to fight it out. Sometimes there's other ways to solve problems.
Right, and that's why I prefer this kind of resolution to the anime, where he's just like, we're fighting, stop. We'll fight again later. I like that he's like, this isn't working. Let me find a new approach. And he does the song instead. Yeah. That's a good point of growth for him. So I think that's wonderful. And I like meeting the Baroque Works inside the whale with our separated crew. Oh, so it's a girl whale. I love that line. That's very funny.
Oh, yeah. I'm just going to punch the uvula. Oh, so it's a
It's a
girl.
girl will.
I like the
Very
whole.
funny joke.
I like all the Sanji and Usopp stuff here. I like them finding Mr. Nine, and then later Usopp in the next episode lying and be like, and then I fought a zombie and saved Sanji's life. And Sanji's like, that's not exactly how that went.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love
But here's where
Usopp's
we meet, of course, Mr.
braggadocious
Nine
nature.
and
Miss Wednesday.
Miss Wednesday,
Wednesday.
yeah, who we don't know yet is we think is one of the Baroque Works agents.
We get
He's
a
actually
recurring
undercover.
motif of Baroque Works. The lower agents are all named numbers and days of the week, and then
Yes, the
as you move
males
up
are
to-
numbers, and then the females are different days of the week or different holidays.
And as you
Yeah.
move up to a journeyman member, who is someone who actually travels and actually commits missions for Baroque's Works, you are either a male who is a number 1 through 10, or you are a female with a holiday specific name. So
Right.
Wednesday, right on the fringe there, and Mr. Nine as well.
And like the higher the number, I think the higher rank, right? Like a number
Yeah.
9 is
Yeah, because
weaker than the
obviously number
7 that we've already
0,
defeated.
Mr.
Yeah.
Zero is the
closer to the top,
leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they all have a pairings, a male and female pairing that go out as agents and do different things. So we have Mr. Five and Miss Valentine, who are kind of chasing them around and stuff and trying to kill the Straw Hat Pirates.
We'll meet Mr. 13 and Miss Friday at one
Friday the
point,
13. Yeah, Friday and 13, the unluckies.
Oh,
A
yeah.
vulture and a otter.
Unlucky.
So it's not even limited to human beings. They will just
Yes,
hire
when-
things.
That's world
Sanji
building
fights
too.
these two characters. Yeah, it's like a bird and some kind of otter. And I'm like,
Excuse me.
these are considered Baroque Works
Excuse me.
agents.
When Sanji
Yeah.
kills these characters, he
Yes.
breaks their necks and slashes one of their throats.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. And they do, they're not
got
afraid
unlucky.
to kill off these Baroque Works agents, but it's like at the same time, they're trying to kill the Straw Hat Pirates. So it's kind of all fair.
The violence in the world of One Piece is always kind of interesting to juggle. And this show embraces it fully of like, if you're Zoro, if you're Makenyo, baby, I got these swords. You're dead. And if you're Luffy, it is much more about, haha, I've beaten you because I'm like a kid. Don't you give up? And it's like, no. For some of these people, it's like, no,
You have
to
to
the
kill
death.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised their willingness to kill off some of these characters, like Mr. Nine, who I think gets killed by Mrs. Valentine in the Whiskey Peak episode. And it's like this character from the anime like comes in for like 2 episodes and then gets killed. And I was like, I thought he was going to be more of a reoccurring character.
This is sort of a question I want to pose to you guys, because obviously the answer Oda has when people are like, why do you draw the women with the bodies that you do? And he's like, it's for boys. And they're like, why is it sort of like childish and dumb? He's like, this is for little boys. I'm making a little boy's story. Do you understand that? Now, is this show for children? You have Buggy saying things like, you're a shit moth going to a shit flame, you dumb fuck, and things like that. And
which I'm pretty sure
people are killed.
I like that line, the shit moth flame, because I'm pretty sure that's something Mr. Leahy said in Trailer Park Boys at one point. But yeah, there is a mixer of like mature themes and violence and profanity and stuff like that with more younger. And I think it is aimed at a younger audience, but maybe like a teen audience.
Vivi at one point says, now you'll be under the control of my hypnotic sexy dance. And then she just starts gyrating around.
Yeah. And again, what I know from the anime is like what Nami looks like, what Nico Robin looks like I know what these characters look like in the anime.
What's the biggest things on those characters, would you say, Jacob?
Their personalities.
Brains, right?
Yeah, you think Marvel Rivals is making Gooner.
Yeah, right.
Netties, get your hands on One Piece. I'll be there day one, baby.
New Boa Hancock skin. Yeah.
Oh, Mike.
That's a character you'll learn about one day.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I like I think it's for a little bit older, like the people who kind of grew up with it. It's like a older teen, young adult mainly.
Right.
It's again, I'm like, what is the audience for this? What is Netflix hope to accomplish? It's just always what I'm curious about. Like, what is the return on this as far as like the hope is like, yes, 18 to 28-year-olds will watch this show, stream 1 million hours. and they will buy what? You cannot tie in product placement at all into this universe. It is a world of like snails and like, fruity pirate drinks and stuff. Like none of it makes sense.
Yeah.
Do they have the streaming rights to the series?
Well,
Yes, they
the
do.
series is
Up
on
to a
Netflix.
certain
That
Yeah,
synergy would
yeah.
make sense, because then how do you re-up a subscription? Well, I got 1,000 episodes of that thing you like that you haven't watched yet,
Yeah.
That's why, I was like, should I start watching this? Because again, Netflix has a lot of different animes, including old animes like, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, these classic. So there's like a ton of anime content on Netflix specifically, including One Piece. So you can go right to the anime and be like, I want to, start watching that.
Because there's 8 episodes. You could be done in an afternoon or two. So then it's like, well, why do I renew this? Because that's what Netflix ultimately needs anyway.
Right.
And if they have no flagship shows, like, not to get too into that right now, but you know what I mean? Yeah, what's their benefit if you spent $400 million on a season? I don't know what they spent on it, but it's expensive,
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's whiskey business, some might say.
Yeah, dude.
That's right. Let's move
Let's
into our
run over
next
to Whiskey
episode.
Peak. So the end of the last one is that they end up actually capturing the Baroque Works, the Baroque Work
Mhm.
agents, and taking Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday with them. They are then set up to this sort of level of interrogation of, oh, you think we're bad? Now you got to deal with our captain, which basically means you're going to be interrogated by a moron. Right? And Luffy interacting with him comes down to him being like, well, I'm actually going to free her because she gives me a good feeling. And they're like,
My
what do you
gut
mean?
is
And he's
telling
like,
me.
I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is what's so funny is that Luffy being the captain and the rest of the crew just kind of going along with him.
Well, and then being like, no, you shouldn't be the one who makes these decisions, and being like,
Yeah.
but I am.
like, no, I got a good feeling in my gut about
Yeah,
this.
Constant copy of the series.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're
It's
just like,
great.
okay, I guess we're letting them go, I guess.
Mhm.
But then you get this twist of like, well, there's like a double twist of Whiskey Peak where they show up to this like basically old west town. But the townspeople are very friendly there, and they're
We
friendly to
love
pirates. Like,
pirates.
we're pirates, aren't you?
First-
Like scared of us?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, no, we absolutely love pirates. Please come hang out and party with us.
We make music
and
and
the way they explain
whiskey.
it is like they say, like,
come hang out.
yeah, well, if we fought off every pirates that showed up, it'd be impossible. So we might as well show you a good time, so you don't like pillage our village and stuff, right?
Nice rhyme.
I didn't even mean
That's
to
right.
rhyme there.
Right. Don't pillage our village. Yeah.
But then obviously this is a whole setup for basically this village. Well, number one, they're all Baroque works, and number
That's right.
two, they're basically getting everyone drunk. And what they do is they party with the pirates until they get drunk, and then they kill them.
The different vices. They, get
Yes.
women for Sanji and Usopp, booze
Right.
for Zoro. They convince
Food for
Nami
Luffy.
that, she can take a bath, and food for
Food for
Luffy.
Luffy, yeah.
And that great shot where they pull back, and the reveal of this whole trick is that the cactus pins, the individual spikes that would be on a cactus, are actually the graves of the thousands of
Yes.
pirates that they've pulled these cons on.
I love that. You
Right.
think it's a giant plant that is a cactus. No, it's a massive mass grave of pirates. They've been doing this for hundreds, thousands of years. It's very cool.
Yes. And of course, the double twist here is that so first you meet the mayor of this town, Igarim, who is revealed to be a Baroque Works agent, but then the double reveal is that he's actually undercover along with Vivi, Mrs. Wednesday. They're both undercover as Baroque agents, but they're actually the princess and the captain of the guard of Alabasta.
Yeah, so they've been trying to discover the identity of who's at the top of Baroque Works, because Baroque Works is at odds with the government of Alabasta. They're funding a resistance government. So to save her kingdom, she needs to figure out what Baroque Works is doing. So
She
that's kind of the
embedded
deal.
herself as an agent. Yeah.
Correct.
But this episode, I love. First of all, I just loved when before the reveal of them just hanging out and partying at Whiskey Peak.
yeah.
Like, that's a lot of fun.
Usopp playing darts is very fun. I've never even played darts before.
Yo, I've never even done it. You meet the nuns who are like, oh, we like it too. And then later it's revealed to be Miss Monday. She's like a huge bodybuilder.
Boxing lady. Yeah.
Nami having a drink off with the nun.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Very
And she's
fun
like, "Oh yeah,
stuff.
that,
And
that
then
money's from the conjugation." Nami's like, "Not my problem." I can't remember what she says, but
that's
it's
your
like,
Yeah,
cross to
she's
bear,
like, good.
sister.
"Yeah, better
That's
start
what she
praying."
says. That's great.
Yeah.
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 So
And then
good.
Sanji and Usopp, like you said, getting enticed by these women. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll sit back real quick to talk about the noun that Mike brought up before, log pose. So
Yes.
we got gifted by Crocus a log pose to Nami. Nami is the navigator. A pirate ship is only as good as its navigator, right? This guilt that's hanging on her that
Mm-hmm.
in this world and in the Grand Line, weather can change immediately, atmosphere, temperature, all these things that could really lead to the downfall of a pirate ship at any turn. A
Yeah.
log pose is unlike a compass in that a compass is always pointing to true north. Meanwhile, a log pose hooks on to the nearest magnetic signal from the closest island. So you can basically navigate yourself island to island to hop around the Grand Line because there is no sort of certain strait that you
Yeah.
need to hit. You sort of just need to instead hit these land masses. You then have to attend these land masses and for a certain amount of time to reset your log post. So they've had this conversation with Igaram where he said it takes a day, that you have to stay here basically anyways, and she agrees that that's sort of why they have to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get some more log post shenanigans here in a bit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Again, I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. I'm just
Doesn't
kind of
make any
going along
sense.
with it. Yeah, it doesn't make any
Right.
sense to me.
And you
But
almost wonder, why bring it up? Why waste the oxygen and dialogue? It truly just seems like because someone is like, no, we must be slavish to how specific the mechanics of this world exists, that you're like,
yeah,
you
but I
could
appreciate
talk
the
about characters. You could,
Yep.
have a normal TV show. And instead they're like, no, we will double down, in fact.
Log
Yeah.
pose.
I appreciate
yes.
the specificness and the detail of the world, and even like, oh yeah, telephones in this world are weird snail things for some
Yes.
reason.
But to
Yeah.
Den Mushes now, but there is the equivalent, Jacob, that you wouldn't. I guess maybe it's this. I guess I don't know. In something like Game of Thrones, there is no moment where the spider, what's that guy's name, Viserys or whatever his name is,
Varys. Yeah.
Varys,
The
goes
eunuch.
like, and of course, ravens. This is how we send messages. You hook a thing
Right.
to a raven, and a raven goes this way. And ravens are like our phones. Do you guys understand the metaphor that we're going for here? Like, but there is like the power to One Piece is that it is like, okay, I do have to hit pause and explain to you how complicated
Yeah.
this world
I
is.
th-
But they do it because they have to, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's also more of an anime thing where they're like, we're going to explain the power system of this world with like
yes.
gum fruits and or devil
Yes.
devil fruits. So that's a very anime thing to be like, I need
Yeah.
to specifically explain in detail all these different things
did
about
you,
the world.
By the way, did you know that this is how things work? It's like, well,
Yeah.
everybody would because they exist in that world, but sure, go
Right.
ahead and tell.
I think that's also with the format of manga and stuff, like they can go into more detail. So it is interesting that they do hit that so hard in the show. And yeah, something like Game of Thrones, it has all these weird things about the world, but it's kind of just adds these contextual things into the world, like with the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, where I was trying to explain about the Blackfire rebellions, like, right, which is going to be a big part of season 2 of A Night of the Seven. But they don't explain that in the show, but they just
It
kind of
just
give you some
weaves,
backstory. Yeah, it's like
yes,
little
yeah,
details. You're like, oh, what's that about? And then you can learn more as you go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is much more YA, where it's like, nope,
Yeah.
this is how it is. You're like, oh,
Right. They do kind of pay it off from a plot standpoint later on too, which I appreciate, where there's like, oh, there's certain ones that go to certain islands. If you're lucky, you can
Yes.
find one of those.
An
Or this
eternal.
one takes a year before it resets. You're going to be on this island for a year. So that's a
Yep.
good way to
You
weave it
wouldn't wanna
into
stay
the
here.
plotting. Yeah,
yes. It creates stakes, which is wonderfully done.
It creates stakes and an excuse to point them wherever you want them to go as a writer. Like, it gives you control, and you can use it as a stakes driving tool.
But also, there's these very quick lines where it's like, but also none of them point the same way. So actually, 7 people could go out and they could all go to different islands, because there is these constant sort of retcons where characters are like, how did these characters never interact? And it's like, well, actually, they were all, going on a different path.
They're all kind of random.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
you got it, Oda.
Yeah, it
the
sounds
man.
good,
Yeah.
buddy. But to bring
And then
that
every
up, like,
island is
yeah.
different. It's got its weird things about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that specificity, to come back to being accurate, it's something that McKinney brought up in his famous Duel versus 100 Baroque Works members. He's like, we need to have
Oh, yeah,
100 different stunt people go down because people will be counting. I would be counting as a
Right.
fan.
He's
So
counting.
they're really
Yeah.
dude.
doing it.
That's why I
But it
love
is-
this whole Whiskey Peak episode
Yeah.
because I love the
The
partying
greatest bar
beforehand,
fight
and then
ever.
I love the fight scene with McKenna and just fighting all these different people, counting as he goes, 66, 67.
Mhm.
You're not as drunk as you acted. He's like, yeah, I know. And then Nami's later like, it's a trap. And he's like, yes, I understand that. He's
Oh, when
just,
he's
like
taking a
so
piss.
far ahead of everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. There was
So basically, Mr. Nine sends all the townspeople that they were partying with are all Baroque Works
The
agents,
lower
but they're the
numbers.
lower level ones
Mhm.
who are not so hard to fight. So he's just cutting through them like crazy, and they have all different kinds of fighting methods. Some of them have guns and stuff. And yeah, it's a great fight scene, great stunt work. Meanwhile, Luffy is in like a pie shop eating desserts and stuff, and he sort of has scenes with Igaram and Vivi and the
Mhm.
reveal of who they are and all that stuff. So yeah, I like a lot. There's a lot to like in this episode.
Eventually, yeah, like Zoro saves Usopp and Sanji, and they go back to the boat. And then Jacob Gibson, the actor for Usopp, he tweeted, McKinney was like, "Oh, we made sure we did 100 for that scene." And then Jacob tweeted like, "Yeah, Usopp actually killed 101 people on the way to the boat, but we had to cut that for time." And it's just a really good Usopp tweet, you know?
That's what Usopp would
The
say.
scene-
Yeah.
Exactly.
The scene where Zoro goes through the wall and Usopp's like, Zoro, save us. Him and Sanji are tied up, but Sanji doesn't say anything is so good.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, of course they get lured upstairs by these two women, and Sanji kind of pulls Usopp into that. Usopp's like playing pool. He's like, "No, I'm good, man. I'm playing pool." He's like, "Oh, come on, these women."
Got a sister. Yeah, he's
Come
like,
on, buddy.
Bringing that up. He's like, no, but they're
Yeah.
related.
Right.
And there's the ongoing Sanji and Zoro dynamic of like trying to compete with each other, which is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like all the Sanji stuff. He at one point, I can't remember what the context is, but talks about how baking is different than cooking. He's like, it's actually a different
Two
culinary
different
art.
disciplines.
Yeah.
He brings that up. And then in this part, when he's mixing cocktails, he's like, actually, this is how you mix cocktails. And he's sort of like talking about it too. And it's like, truly, he could do like all forms of
Yeah,
cooking
he's doing
or-
cocktail tricks
Yep.
and stuff and
Yeah.
flipping the bottle.
Which, Taz Skyler, once again, he's learning his capoeira, learning cooking, and learning
Dude.
cocktail flipping. Dude, he's going
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I call this drink the greatest view in the Grand Line. The girl's like,
It's pretty smooth,
Yeah.
Sanji.
pretty good.
Yeah. Very impressive
So,
stuff.
but the Vivi reveal, of course, we find out that Vivi is the princess of Alabasta. We find out Igaram or Mr. What number was he? I don't remember.
8?
Mr.
He was
8.
Mr. 10.
Mr.
10?
I'm Mr. 8, yes.
I think
He's
8, yeah.
definitely above Mr. 9. So he's definitely
Yeah.
Mr. 8.
And he loves playing a saxophone.
That's right. I'm still looking for a musician for my crew, and he's like, noted.
Yeah.
But then, of course, they are visited by Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine, who we kicked off this entire season with. Miss All Sunday, we forgot to mention, was also sort of like the first shown images this season, is how
Right.
easily Baroque Works can just overthrow an island if they're using their full power. And
Yeah.
these two traveling agents with the bomb fruit with Mr. 5, meaning any
Incredible.
piece of him can explode, which he loves to pick his boogers and throw. Or Miss
Incredible.
Valentine, who has the kilo fruit, which means she can adjust
change
her weight
her
from
body.
1 kilo to 10,000 kilos. So either be
Yeah.
extremely light or extremely heavy.
Mr. 5, incredible character who picks his boogers and flicks them at people, and it causes gigantic explosions. What a great idea.
So
Yeah.
Mr.
Power.
5, the drawing, and if you look at this actor, is based on Lenny Kravitz. Like,
Yeah.
Oda is so very
he looks
specific
so
with who he
swaggy, like, in this
chooses
show.
how to
Yeah.
draw. You also have the themes of Baroque work team up. So you have the Mr. Prince, Miss Wednesday theme, royalty. Mr. Prince is literally, I keep calling him Mr. Prince. Mr.
Mhm.
9 is
Mr. Nine
literally
has a crown.
has a
Yeah.
crown, looks very regal, and then literally that Vivi is a princess, right, is their theme.
Uh-huh.
You have Miss Valentine and Mr. 5 who are fashion themed. She is sort of the mod fashion of the 60s, and he
Yeah.
is sort of the hot couture of like the 80s or 90s, basically.
Oh,
He looks incredible.
Yeah. No, and
Uh,
the costume designer
Yeah.
talking to Oda about Miss Valentine. He's like, "Oh, I was inspired by Twiggy," and she was like, "That's great. I can use that when I make this dress." And it's very 60s mod, yeah, for sure.
100%
yeah.
Twiggy. Again, there's so many characters where he's like, well, what if you're just Al Pacino? And it's like, well, you can't just do that. And he's like, no,
Yeah.
this character's just Al Pacino. So,
That's kind of
yeah.
JoJo's too, but he did
Yeah.
it first.
Yeah,
for
oh,
sure.
totally.
Very anime. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Mr. Five and Mrs. Valentine show up to kill Vivi and the Straw Hat Pirates.
And Igrum
And so this is where we
sacrifices
get the
themselves
reveal.
so they can escape.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
The
Igrum,
ultimate
now, I would-
reveal here is that Mr. Zero has uncovered that Princess Vivi has worked her way into Baroque's works, and now 2 agents have been assigned to make sure that she is put to death.
Mhm.
With all this out in the open, Luffy is like, no, we are protecting you. My hunch was right. You are a good person.
Yeah,
He
his
was
gut was right.
And did you mention also that the higher the number, like, is the more important? I think you did. Yeah. That,
Yeah, because Mr.
within
Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
So we're
Mr.
climbing the
3,
ladder.
you later meet Mr. 3, and he's like the superior to Mr. 5 and Mrs. Wednesday in terms of.
There's also, again, I don't understand how holidays work in Japan, but the hierarchy of holidays is literally that Miss All Sunday, who is that character we met in the beginning, spoiler,
Right.
we reveal her name is Nico Robin, is the highest holiday because Sundays are the day of like do nothing importance in like
Yes.
Japan. It's
I
like
actually-
the ultimate day. So if you're all Sundays, you're the best
all
holiday.
Sunday.
which
That's
is
great,
very
yeah.
Sunday funny.
I actually
That's
read
awesome.
online. So basically, they're ranked in terms of happiness of the day according to.
Oh, I
Oda.
love that. That's great.
Yeah. How happy
like,
does
what-
this holiday or day make you feel, basically?
Like, what is Golden Week, Mike? What is that in Japan?
So Golden Week is a week in which most people have off. It's like the longest week of vacation. So like if you're traveling during Golden Week, hotels are all booked. Like everybody is like basically off work, doing stuff with their families. It's a big holiday weekend. I think it's in the summer, according
So
to
it
my
makes sense why
Persona
she's paired
memory.
with Mr. 3, who
Yeah.
are pretty high up.
Yeah.
They're basically the third highest.
Golden Week's like the biggest
Spoiler.
holiday
Higher.
spans of time.
Yeah.
Next season, we'll probably meet Miss Merry Christmas. There's
New
some
Year's is
other
pretty high
holidays you
up
can
there,
imagine,
yeah.
But like,
Shogatsu.
Valentine's is a big day. That's what in Japan. I
Well,
couldn't
Valentine's
imagine.
Day is more. Christmas is more like Valentine's Day, honestly, in Japan than Valentine's Day is. Christmas is for couples.
who's Mr.
Valentine's Day, I think the
Mr. 2?
the girl generally is getting gifts for the boyfriend.
I want to know who Mr. 2 is and who's his partner and what her name is.
Tuesday.
It's
Tuesday.
incredible.
Because they would be second
let me just
highest
say-
after. Well, I guess there's Mr. 1 and then there's Mr. 0.
Let me just say it's an incredible reveal.
Looking forward
Okay.
to that. I'm trying to see if
Um,
I remember, but I won't spoil it.
Yeah, but Igurum, Mr. 8, I think
8.
he is, and he. Now, how would you describe him? He has a wig with curls on it, and at one point, little machine guns come out of his curls and start shooting.
It's incredible. Mo.
Yeah,
Yep.
he loves
Also
music.
read,
Loves,
He's opera themed basically. He is a South African actor, so this is another local
Okay.
Hollywood,
Oh,
which absolutely
great.
makes sense.
And this
he's-
guy was
yeah.
great.
He does a great job.
I'm hoping we get
Like you said,
more
the Vivi
flashbacks
actress-
to get more out of him.
Like you said, the Vivi actress was from Bridgerton, and she's a great addition to the cast as well. And I thought she was bad at first, and then she turned out to be nice, and I was like, oh, I like this character.
Mhm.
The theme of Alabasta, we get this with her father. I forget that actor's name, Sutri Chanal, I think, or something
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
God bless. I love that
Something
guy
like
from
that.
Flash.
Yeah.
An actual emphasis on their country is Egypt themed. These are Middle Eastern actors, opposed to the way Oda draws them, which is
I was going to mention
not like that.
sort of a race swap with
Jacob Romero being black.
Vivi.
I mean, we talked about this a lot. That they find characters to be like.
But Usopp
this
is.
who
I mean,
these
you could say
characters should
Usopp
be.
is black in the
He's-
anime.
He is coded, but again,
Yeah.
that's never manga. There are black characters there in One Piece that are very explicit, kind of, and even those you're worried about actually how they're drawn and the
Right,
actual
right.
features that are being highlighted.
Right.
I should also say there's a huge history. We did not get into this last episode, but of trans representation in One
Yeah.
Piece, and we're going to get into that a lot next season. Actually, and it has been truly since the '90s a work of art that's like, no, you can actually go by whatever pronoun you want. Which reading as a kid, I was always like, this is wild.
Like, okay.
Yeah, of course.
No,
Like you
that's
have
true.
character. You can be whoever you want. You can have green
Yeah.
hair.
Of course, you could be half bird or fish.
Yeah.
You could be a little otter that wears sunglasses. None of
You
it
could
makes
be a-
sense. It's like,
Right.
what would I
anthropomorphic
care if a guy
reindeer
was
with a hat.
gay?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Right.
But we love it. And
love it.
so Whiskey Peak. So yeah, Igaram sacrifices himself to let the Straw Hats and Vivi get away from Mr. Five and Miss Valentine, and they sort of escape. And yes, he sacrifices himself. Yeah.
Luffy says, "We're going to take you your kingdom, Vivi. Now that we know you're princess." And is this where Miss All Sunday shows up and says, "I have a log pose you can take. You're going to die, but I can
Yes.
help you." And she offers them a log pose that has I can't remember what destination she offers them. What's her out? Do you remember, Colin?
She just
like
says, "I will
another
return you
island.
to a totally safe island where you can just
Yeah.
live out the rest of
Instead
your
of going to
lives
Little
alone
Garden.
and not bothered. But if I were
Mhm.
you, I would not go to Little Garden." And Luffy's
Little
like,
Garden.
"Then we're going to Little Garden."
He
Yeah,
crushes
like
it. He
smashes it.
breaks it. 'Cause that's a
Um,
very Luffy thing to do. He never thinks, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now this character, Miss All Sunday, obviously I know certain things about this character that
What do
might be
you know?
considered spoiler, but
What do you know?
well, I know there's a character named Nico Robin, of
What do you
course,
know?
who eventually
Mhm.
joins the crew. So I'm very excited to see how her arc goes into joining the crew. But this is a big addition for the cast, and I like this actress a lot too. Don't know her name off the top of my head, but
Polina
yeah,
Abreva, is that correct? A Russian
yes,
actress, which I
Russian
believe sort of is the
actress.
nationality they've always sort of given Nico Robin.
And she
We
has a
also get
great
again
look with the cowboy hat and stuff, and her
All her
powers
looks.
of
another
her arm
cool
powers.
devil fruit power that's sort of
Yeah.
shown. Again, I'd like to talk about a little bit about the puns that Oda does.
Yeah.
This is the Hana no Mi. Hana means flower. That's sort of why you see the petals as these
Cherry
things are
blossoms.
coming out.
Yeah.
Cherry blossoms, very important imagery in One Piece, especially this season. So you see petals appear and then appendages, and basically she can make hands, feet, whatever, sprout of anything. Now, Hana does mean flower. It also means to bloom. More specifically, meaning that she's a bloom person. What she's doing is not, because you would think if you're eating the flower fruit, why isn't her ability to just like shoot flowers out of her hands, whatever? It's not that. She's a blooming human. She has the ability to bloom, which in this context, Hana, phonetically, of course, looking like hand, the way that it's written out,
Oh, yeah.
Hana, she blooms appendages. It sort of makes sense in this pun logic. And again, that's how Oda's brain works. You just have to accept that across the board,
She
basically.
is sprouting appendages out of anything she wishes. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it looks so cool
so
when you see her
imagine if
take
just
down.
out of nowhere it started strangling you. Yeah.
Yeah. Like her hand comes out of your stomach and strangles you. Like that's
Yes.
really
Incredible
wild. When she
effects.
takes out those 20 Marines, very, very sick.
Yeah,
Effective.
by
Yeah.
pulling out its own gun and shooting him in the head.
Oh,
That
man.
would be, not a
Yeah.
great way to go.
Incredible power
And
set.
she shows up on the Going Merry and basically shuts down the whole crew immediately. Like they
Don't
try
point
to
those
fight
at me,
back
it's
and she just
dangerous.
overpowers them.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. But then, is it true, Colin, that Monkey D. Luffy in the manga, he's generally not drawn with thought bubbles because the idea is he just acts impulsively, right? He doesn't think he's action first. So that's kind of what we see when he smashes this log post.
Yeah, there's basically two rules of like no sexuality or romance for Luffy and no thought. And that's sort of the driving force of his character throughout the entire show. He's never going to be like, that girl is so hot, I can't, the story has to stop for a minute so I can date her. It's like, no. This is an adventure. He needs to just go into that full head on. And
That's
he's
interesting
never going to
'cause
think about what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
In this show, I thought there was some potential romantic with him and Vivi, where there's some certain subtle stuff with him and Vivi. I noticed. Obviously,
There's definitely a live
like,
action draw to be like Sanji and Nami are gonna hook up, and then of course Vivi and Luffy. And watching it, I was like, "Wow, this is fascinating."
Vivi and Luffy, I noticed, and then Sanji. I feel like Sanji and Zoro fighting over Nami, kind of, and trying to compete with each other for
like that.
Nami's attention.
That's great.
But maybe she's more into Sanji. But I also ship Sanji and Zoro. So
there we go.
A lot of people
I ship
do.
Nami and Vivi as well.
Shout out to the phone case one of my coworkers has. That's very explicitly that, Jacob.
Sure.
Imagine the size of fish
compete, you know.
you could fillet with those swords, you know.
God bless her.
Yeah.
But we got to keep moving on the plot because we're like 2 episodes in. We have so much more plot to talk about.
Good Lord.
I know, we're cooking. So, let's go to Hungry Garden. Because, honestly, Little Garden, it's kind of a short arc anyway. But, they get on this island. There's dinosaurs. We get Brogy and... Who's the other giant?
Dory.
Brogy and Dory, these giants of Albath. They've been fighting for hundreds of years.
They are the 2 captains of the giant warrior pirates. They're saying things like, "We worship the sun god Nika." It's another one of these things where we have all these words and terms now.
It's going to come into place in like 5 seasons, right?
Seasons, Jacob. Like literally, I'm sitting on my couch laughing like a lunatic, going like, "How dare you?" One of the chess pieces that Dory is drawing is an homage to the first time we see what this character Loki's silhouette looks like, which I was like, "Why even put this in? This is madness."
I know, and they're talking about Elbath, and I know there's a later arc of Elbath where they go.
I will say this. I will tell you guys this. Right now, I am reading the Elbath stories where Dory and Brogy are characters. I'm seeing these characters again for the first time since I was 11.
Wow, they're back at it again. That's incredible.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
100 seasons.
So there's 2 giants on this island. They're in this eternal duel where they're dueling all the time. Meanwhile, there's also dinosaurs on the island.
No, it's a volcano. That means the fight to the death has started.
It's time for a duel. And this is when we get a visit from Mr. 3 and Miss Golden
Monday.
Week.
Golden Week, that's right. Golden Week.
Their Baroque Works theme is art. You have Mr. 3,
Wax
who
powers.
is a wax sculpturist. He has eaten the wax fruit. And then, very confusingly, it had to be cleared up in what you call an SBS, a special bulletin that Oda answers these questions on, where a fan many years later was like, "Does Miss Golden Week have a power?" And he was like, "No, she has hypnotic
people and it changes their
emotions."
emotions.
We're like, "Well, how's that not a devil fruit?" And he's like, "I don't know."
I don't know.
Sometimes Oda's answers are just like, "Don't worry about it. Like, I wrote that when I was 20. I'm 48 now." It's like, it doesn't matter.
The devil fruits remind me a lot of Hunter x Hunter, where they have these Nen powers, which they each have like a specific power that blossoms inside of you, and it can literally be anything. Like each person has their own specific
whatever
power.
You want. What are the rules to them? What does it matter? It could be different per person. It's like,
you
okay,
decide,
great. So the wax fruit, pretty cool. It hardens like steel, but otherwise it's this sort of gloppy substance he can lock you in. Very quickly takes everybody out, locks Zoro, Vivi, and Nami in sort of this candelabra structure that's going to burn them all and turn them into wax. Zoro says he's going to cut his feet to get out of it, and when they remind him that he can't be the world's greatest swordsman with no feet, he's like,
maybe not.
This is a great moment. He's like, all right, fine, I'll just die then.
But with Mr. 3, of course, we have David Dastmalchian, probably the biggest name actor that we've had on the show up to this point.
Yep.
Yeah. Big star. We know from a million things.
Who's a straight up freak. Like he's like a cool, weird artistic dude who loves this shit and loves to be in stuff like this. So you could understand why he'd do a weird genre Netflix show like this.
Of course. And I saw him talking. We'll talk about Dr. whatever her name is later, but I saw him talking to Jamie Lee Curtis, who was rumored to be, potential for that character. And Jamie Lee Curtis came out and said, I'm a huge, I love One Piece. Like my daughter loves One Piece and all this stuff. So I was really into it. But scheduling wise, it didn't work out, so they went with Katie Seagal instead, which we'll
She's
talk
like,
about.
I've been friends with Katie Seagal for 20 years. I love her, is what she says in that
Mhm.
interview. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I saw just an interview of, I think David Dasmalchian worked with Jamie Lee Curtis on something, and they were talking about One Piece, like in this media interview and stuff. So he loves it, and he's Mr. 3 because he's got his hair in the shape of a 3 on the top of his head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's he does a great job in this, like taking out 3 of our straw hats, leaving Usopp and Sanji is the only ones free, and then Luffy, meanwhile, is trapped by Golden Week with her paint powers, where he's in the sad power, where
Yes.
she's saying, "You're never going to be king of the pirates. You suck," and we get to see a side of this emotional side
Yes.
of Luffy we don't really see.
Right.
It's
So her
the
power
eternal
is she
optimist. Yeah, gets sucked down.
paints different colors onto people, and what color you paint changes your mood, your emotional state, so to speak.
Yeah. But in this, you can break the paint
And,
circle, then it breaks the spell. That's kind of the
Right, just
function.
wipe
of
it
yeah.
off.
Yeah, honestly.
And Mr. 3's plan is somewhat convoluted, where he makes this birthday cake made out of wax, and then he lights the candles, and they're going to melt, over these characters and turn them into wax sculptures. Well, they'll suffocate because they're covered in wax.
And he has that great line where he says, "Baroque Works, some of my colleagues are so focused on the work, they forget to be Baroque." And I think that's very
That's
good.
right. Yeah. Because Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine show up, and he sort of chews them out and says the Unluckies will be there soon to kill them. That's when we get the one person on the solo mission. This is a huge meme in the One Piece community. This is what they call Sanji work. There's a lot of times off panel where, like, how did the ship get back in the dock for them to all leave? And truly, Sanji will be like, I did that. Like I like put the boat there, right? And so this one, specifically the Mr. Prince scene, where he gets a call from the
Talks to
leader
Mr.
of Baroque
Hero.
Works, and it's like, "What's up, you shitty fucking piece of shit? I'm this
Yep.
guy. I'm gonna kill your dudes later," and just hangs up and does all this. This is so important for like what happens like so far down the road in One Piece that I'm like astounded by it. It's so great.
Yeah,
And again,
yeah.
at this point, I'm just going with it, like an otter flying in on a bird, and those
With
are
Gatling guns?
Shooting a
I'm told that that's
minigun.
Mr.
Yeah.
13 and whatever, and I'm just like,
Absolutely.
all right, whatever.
Great.
Yeah.
If you say so, show.
When they finally escape and they're talking about, oh yeah, Usopp kind of saved everybody. He beat, Mr. 5 and Valentine, and then Sanji's like, I beat 2 of them. I beat Mr. the Unluckies, and then Vivi's like, they're really
No
strong.
big deal.
No, she's like, they're
Yeah.
really strong, even though they're like
And
the
they say,
lowest
what were they? He goes,
ones.
He's like, he was like a bird.
Yeah. They're very dangerous.
And
she covers for him.
I also like in this episode with the giants where at first Usopp is worried that this giant is going to eat them and put them in a stew, and then it turns out the giant is just like, no, I'm like a nice guy. I just wanted some company.
No, I said I'd have you for dinner. And then he goes, no, I do see what that sounds like now.
Yeah. And then Usopp bonds with this giant, and then he's got his arc of like obviously wanting to be the brave Captain Usopp, and he gets to be brave in this episode. So that's a great arc for him.
Yeah, the Lord of Destruction. He becomes the hero of
That's
Little
right.
Garden, and so that's his big arc.
They say this stuff like Dory says we're going to celebrate by eating sell me. Like that is a reference to a food in One Piece that again is so obscure and important that I'm like, what is happening? Why is this even worth talking about? What are you
That's
doing?
crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually they do defeat Mr. 3 and Miss All Sunday, or no, Mrs. Golden Week.
Or Miss Golden.
Miss Golden Week. And of course, Luffy defeats her by painting all the different colors on her, which basically makes her just go insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Mr. 3, although you can immediately see like the hierarchy, because Mr. 3 shows up and just like immediately puts this other pair, Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine, in their place. And is like so much stronger than them power wise. Yeah.
Which is, like I said, I think that's funny when Vivi's like, oh, you beat like 13 and Friday. Like, she's like, no, they're pretty strong, actually, giving Sanji a little bit of shine.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
So they eventually, get away from them.
They get a log post from them. They get a log post for Alabasta after defeating them. So now they got a straight shot to
we have our
Vivi's Kingdom.
mission.
Oh, no, we go to Drum. Yeah, we're on our way.
Well, first, so the cliffhanger at the end of this 2-part little garden arc is that they're all eating this dinosaur food because, of course, Sanji and Zoro killed a dinosaur earlier. And
That
then they
hunting
cooked it.
scene, by the way, where it just kind of they all look up to the dinosaur and it cuts as he's doing a
And Luffy's
slash
on there.
and Sanji's doing like a spin kick. Yeah, and then it's so good. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's great.
It was dead when it broke
So
its
they're all
neck.
eating like
Yeah.
dinosaur tartare that Sanji made, and then Nami says, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm gonna go to bed." She walks out and she passes out. And then next episode, we find out she's like very, very sick, and she's been like in and out for like 4 days. She has these weird stuff on her body that's happening, and they're like, "We need to get Nami to a doctor like immediately because she's very seriously ill right now."
Yeah, the Sanji scene with her where he's like, "No, darling, it's been 4 days since you did that." Like that, I was like,
Yeah.
this is good.
He's like,
That
"I've
was
been watching
crazy.
over you like this whole time." Like that's
Yeah.
another moment of like,
That's
"Oh,
Skylar
Sanji,
again.
Nami, I like it."
Yeah, she thought it was last night, 4 days later. That's great. So they're like, no, okay. Luckily, we're within earshot of a place called Drum Island that's known for having the best doctors. And we're going to go to Drum Island,
Yes.
and then we're going to go to Alabasta.
And then
take
Vivi is like, "Well, Alabasta and Drum have some history, and maybe they don't like me too much on Drum Island. Their king,
That means you're on
Wapol."
his shit list. Yeah, they talk about
Yeah.
the King Wapol.
We see
Yeah,
little
they have-
flashbacks of Vivi too, with, like you said, with the world government meeting and her father.
You see the guy, just real quick. This guy, he's in one panel, dogs, and he is Abraham Lincoln wearing an American flag top hat.
I noticed
And
that. Yeah.
God damn it, if they did not include him in this fucking show, dog.
No,
Where
this
it's really, I'm
roundtable
like,
scene is crazy. Where it's like,
why
oh,
would
this
you even do that?
you have
They
every
include the guy
different-
who is just a Mexican guy. The guy who's just in like a sombrero that's a
Yeah.
cactus dog. Where I'm like,
No, I was looking
you
at all the
cannot put
people
him
in the world kingdom scene. I'm like, what is going on with all these different countries? I love
Dog,
it. But
the
it's
alliance of the
insane.
20 kingdoms.
their name is
Yeah.
Hamburger. The other guy is called King Taco.
That's right. Mike, that's absolutely correct. Just
incredible.
so you know,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
And they kept him in the
Um,
show. Like, way to go, Netflix. You did
God
it.
damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
You maniacs.
So you see little young Vivi kind of spying on this, and you see the dynamic between Wapol and King Cobra, I think his name
And
is.
her
dad.
father, who I did want to shout out real quick, if you're saying the dumbest names for kings possible, Mike, King
Yes.
Cobra, the leader of the Egypt kingdom. Okay.
Yes.
That's a great malt beverage. I don't know what you're talking about. Nefertari Cobra.
Absolutely. There you go.
Yes, and her
So
name is
he
Nefertari
hates Alabasta,
Vivi.
and we know that Wapol is in cahoots with Baroque Works. He's lending some of his money to bankroll their thing to help overthrow Alabasta. So there's this.
And do me a favor though. Describe Wapol, because certainly he's normal looking, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know Jaws from James Bond? Just cover his whole bottom jaw and top lip in metal. He's got a metal mouth. He's a big guy with a metal mouth. He likes to eat.
He's
a
some sort of
punch-out
robot.
character.
Some kind of iron robot jaw.
Now, there are robots in One Piece. There are cyborgs in
course.
One Piece. There are
Mhm.
all sorts of science fiction creatures that could look like anything. Now, Wapol has a ton of metal on him, but when you're introduced to him in the story, we never see him eat his devil fruit, the Munch Munch fruit. So the
Right.
assumption always for all readers was, right, that's because he eats so much metal, that's what he's looking like. No, this show implies that's what he was always like. And in fact,
Yeah.
he just ate the perfect devil fruit for him.
Mhm.
So,
we see he's given a devil fruit by Miss All Sunday as part of their plan. The Baroque Works plan, they give a devil fruit to Wapol that gives him the ability to, I guess, pull things out of his stomach that are metal. I don't understand what his powers are, but he can also transform parts of his body into different metal things.
so he has made an alliance to divert all of the funds from his kingdom to Baroque Works. That is what their
Yes.
sort of benefit is. And in exchange, he does get this devil fruit. The Munch Munch fruit gives you the ability to eat anything, but take on the properties of what you eat. So if I eat a gun, Jacob, my hand might turn into a gun and I could shoot you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Sure.
If I
And
eat an
his-
axe, I can form an
He
axe.
can
with
also
my
turn
hand.
his jaw into like a giant metal hippo, which he does at one point.
He's very hippo themed. Yeah.
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 And he's got some weird minions that I don't know what their deal is. Again, there's a
Nope.
million insane looking characters in the show.
So many.
I kind of
Too
just
many.
go with it. Yeah.
But
But sorry.
no, he's been running around. He abandoned his people. He took all the doctors with him. So there's no kind of king here. And they show up. They need a doctor. And this is where we get Luffy trying to be like an asshole. Like, no, let us in here, you fucking idiots. And we got to help my friend. And then this is when they shoot Vivi in the arm. And she's like showing him, you can use diplomacy. And she bows down and says, we're sorry.
She bows down.
If we can't come in,
Please
could you
let
send
us
a
in."
doctor out here? And that's where Luffy realizes, there's another way to be. And so that's what Vivi's bringing is the diplomatic side of things.
That's
Absolutely.
right. They show up to this village on Drum Island, which, as you mentioned, like all the best doctors are apparently on Drum Island. But now, because of what Wapol's been doing, all the doctors, he's like hunting down all the doctors or whatever.
I always thought this was really interesting to think about a village that has no medical support. Like, what would happen if somebody rounded up like one of your enemies and killed all of the doctors in your town?
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Kind of like an effective torture route, right? Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For level of control.
Yeah. So Luffy follows Phoebe's example and uses diplomacy and bows down like she does. And then we meet another character named Dalton, and he can sometimes turn into he's like a Beauty and the Beast kind of guy.
That's right.
Turn into a beast.
Is it even worth at this point for me to talk about the 3 levels of devil fruit? Like, does that even matter at this point? We're so deep into this episode.
Yeah.
It's like, what is it worth explaining that, right?
Right.
It has a different effect than other ones. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, there we
go. Who knows? But we do find out that basically there's no doctors left because of what Wapol's been doing in this village. But there is one doctor, but she might be a witch, but she lives in a castle on top of the mountains. The only way to get up there is you have to climb up the mountain.
He explains.
Yeah.
They are all worried and say, if Wapol is still here, he might get revenge. He might hurt Vivi. Dalton explains, Wapol is left. Wapol is a pirate. He completely abandoned our country because he was driven out by a pirate called Blackbeard.
That's
Again,
right.
We're getting a lot of setup for the manga One Piece. Blackbeard is a huge character for that.
Sure.
He is specifically saying that pirate came here, terrorized him, forced him out. He is on his way back to hurt us. Meanwhile, Dr. Kriya has taken over his castle.
Oh,
at the top of the mountain.
I never understood that was the same castle that Wapol was in, because I guess I'm just dumb. Like in the flashbacks, Wapol's. I thought that was it was a different place.
He has all his paintings up,
stained glass and stuff.
That's right. So they go in this village, and of course, Nami is so sick she can barely move. They're kind of helping her.
The storm's raging. You could wait a day. Nami cannot wait a day.
Yeah. So Luffy's like, okay, I will climb up this cliff wall of a mountain to get to the top, to get to the castle, and I will carry Nami on my back. And Sanji's like, I'll come with you. The rest of them stay in the village, and actually Zoro wants to come. They're like, no, you need to stay. Like, you need to help defend the village or whatever. Like, you kind of, everyone's got to be doing something. He's like, fine, whatever, I'll stay. And so Luffy and Sanji take off, climbing up, and again, Nami is tied onto Luffy's back. He's climbing up this wall. It's very dangerous. And yeah, to get.
What do you think?
A little change from the anime.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask Colin. How did they handle it?
Sanji gets knocked out in the original story, and Luffy literally carries him in his teeth the entire time and drags them both up. I like the importance on Sanji being a team player. It makes it better that it's everybody, and the homage that he falls.
Yeah, again,
and
there's
Luffy
the moment
grabs him with his
Luffy's
teeth,
neck
by
stretches out
stretching
and
his head out there and throwing him up. That's perfect. That's just enough of what you need.
That's enough.
Adaptation.
I think about the anime.
It shows. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, there's Luffy's doing this barefoot and barehanded, and he's bleeding from his hands and feet. It's very more. It's a lot more graphic in the anime.
Blood by the end of it.
But I think this works pretty well.
This show is a little scared of blood, I've noticed.
Yeah, but
I'm sure
it shows his determination to, as Luffy, be like, no, I need to. This is you're my crew, and I need to do whatever I can. And so he climbs up with Nami, and yeah, his hands are bleeding. He's barely making it up there. But they finally get to the top, and they meet Dr. What was her name?
Dr. Korea, the first image is he gets to the top, he collapses.
Which
A
that's the same.
gorilla-like figure walks up to him, and this is one of like I'd say like 6 recurring images in the manga of a moment where Luffy, who is the most hurt, grabs someone and says, "Help my friends," putting the onus to they are the ones that need attention, not me. Then he passes out, as we see Tony Chopper.
Yes.
Yes. My favorite character, Tony Chopper.
That guy right there.
I see him.
We love him.
And we spend a large portion of these episodes with the backstory of Tony Chopper and what Walpole did to the village. The village thought Chopper was an abominable snowman and they would shoot at him. He had no place to be. And he gets taken in by Dr. Hiriluk, who the actor has a very similar last name.
Yes, he does. I noticed it is dangerously close to Hiriluk. Tony Chopper is a actual reindeer. Is a reindeer with a blue nose who experiences prejudice from reindeers. He is ostracized because he has one different feature. Now, his birthday is Christmas. He's a reindeer with a colored nose.
Yes.
Who does he sound like he is an homage to?
Tony Rudolph.
Yes, I was like, oh, red nose, blue nose.
That's right.
I'm understanding. Yeah.
Again, Oda is like, I'm just cutting corners here. I have to get the point across as quick as possible before I can establish these characters. Now, to further explain him, he's a deer, and a human being later says, like, oh, so deers can be prejudiced too. Like, it's completely the same thing. But he is ostracized by humanity because he's a deer that ate a devil fruit called the human fruit. Now, again, back to that classification thing I was going to say. There's types of devil fruit that are oriented towards animals. So the introduction of Dalton, who has eaten the bison fruit, the ability to turn into a bison, is supposed to set you up as a viewer of, that means it could be any animal. What is also an animal? A mammal, human beings. If a human ate a human fruit, that doesn't make any sense. If an animal ate a human fruit, you would become an animal that could turn into a human. What would that look like? The answer is Chopper.
Got it.
Okay.
For that, just to give some clarity to what goes on. Because truly, a character explains that he thinks that's what occurred at one point in this, his father, doctor character.
Yeah.
But it's not, viewers, you need to understand, like, it is clearer than that. Like, he is a deer that ate a thing that allows him to turn into a human. There's a hybrid form that is a mixture of both. That is this little thing. The human is the tall thing. That's the Hulk. And then there is the deer,
can also
which
be
is
a deer.
what he really is.
Right.
It's the 3 forms of Chopper. I need you guys to understand that specifically.
Yeah. I don't know about any of that, but I do know my previous experience with Chopper, basically, obviously as a complete normie of One Piece, I knew certain things. I know what Monkey D. Luffy looks like. And I know what Chopper looks like because he's sort of the mascot of One Piece.
He is the Totoro of Studio Ghibli.
Yes. And I always knew that he was a reindeer, but I was like, why is he like a little guy with a hat?
So he is. And again, he's voiced by Michaela Hoover. The hybrid form, which is the smallest version, that is completely CG. The heavy point, which is the human version, that is an actor under makeup, which is absolutely insane how that's done. And then there's the deer that is CG. And I would just also like to point out, this is, again, the writing of Oda, and just what I want to celebrate and express, just the level of craft that's going into it. Okay. Tony Chopper, when he is this form, which is this little thing behind me, right, is constantly saying, I'm not a raccoon. What he's saying in Japanese is, I'm not a tanuki, which is a raccoon dog, which is a specific animal to Japan.
Tanuki
now,
soup.
what that is a play on is he's saying the word tanuki, which is a raccoon dog. That is what that word means. Now, the name Tony is a play on tonakai, which is deer. So when he's saying Tony, it's tonakai. Tony Chopper.
Colin.
He's saying Dear Chopper. Now again, but the word Tanuki and Tonokai are phonetically similar by 3
Yes.
letters. Do you understand? He's
incredible.
making puns on written levels
Yes.
that you cannot fathom. Like, it is outstanding, the work that he is
That's
doing.
amazing.
That's pretty
and I was
impressive to me. I love
literally-
that.
Yes.
My next question, Colin, was about to be, why is he
Why is
named
his name
Tony
Tony
Chopper? I
It is a
understand
joke
Chopper.
that
They
Dr.
explain that.
Hiriluk saying. Chopper because he has these big antlers that look like they could
They
chop down
explain
trees.
that. But the
Also,
Tony part, I did not
the-
understand until just
but
now.
the-
so thank you.
Also, I have to explain to you that the joke of Oda is that his name is also Chopper because it looks like handles to a motorcycle, aka a chopper. He
Right.
is making a joke there too.
That's incredible.
That's insane.
1,000 levels to the things that he writes. It's insane.
Yes.
Oh,
I
wow.
love
Tonakai,
that.
Tonakai.
Chopper.
And
I love
that
it.
is amazing. He's not a raccoon, just like Rocket. Raccoon always says,
Exactly.
I'm not a rabbit or not a raccoon.
Yes. But in English, he's making a different joke than what he's saying. Again, I need to
there's
emphasize.
levels
Right.
to it. That's insane.
It's the layers of Tony Chopper.
That's incredible, because what I love about it is, like, yeah, he's making English puns that are also like Japanese language puns.
I also want to say things like, again, phonetically, the way kanji are used in Japanese, sometimes he will write those things where they are puns like that, but then he will use the kanji that means like cherry blossom to write the name, and then you will have the pink hat, the cherry blossom motif of his mentor. The fact that a deer's hoof in the snow is this shape, which is the leaf of a cherry blossom. Like, he is like thinking of things where you're like,
Colin, you're blowing
Oda,
my mind.
You
You're blowing
don't
my
need
mind,
to
Oda.
do this. Like, you could just write a person's name and that could be it. And he's like, no, I've actually thought about it for 40 years, and here's the perfect name. And also, their birthday is Christmas. And also, their blood. And he will get into these things where you're like, but it's all connected? That can't make sense. And he's like, but it does.
It's a Charlie Day
That's all insane.
map
image.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
That's crazy. I love that.
It's very sick. He has a sickness, and I'm worried.
I
about
like
him.
it.
And again, when I say he's the greatest living creator of all time, this is why I believe this.
He ate the punny fruit.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Well, that's all insane. I love that. And thank you for explaining that to me.
Let's get into his backstory.
Tony Chopper.
Episode.
Yes. Episode 7 is a full backstory of his origin story. I just want to say again, you mentioned voiced and facial captured by Michaela Hoover, who is
facial capture. That's amazing.
As the CG version, and
the CG looks incredible. I think.
Yeah, it looks great.
Oh, I was gonna say, it looks incredible. I mean, first of all,
incredible.
It's
Grogu
the cutest thing
who?
I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's
dog.
the cutest. It's
Get
the
him outta
cutest
here.
TV character since Egg.
Yes. When he runs up and he hides, and Nami's like, "That's not how you hide," and he's like, "Shut up, you stupid bitch!"
And that's a bit too. Yeah, he doesn't know how to hide behind things.
He doesn't
That's
know
in the
that like
manga.
cursing's bad. Like, he's just crazy.
Right. And
shit.
I was gonna say, like, he looks better than Sonic in the Sonic movies. Maybe that's blasphemy to you Sonic fans, but I think he looks better than Sonic. And
I think he looks better than Tails, 100%.
The fur texture, the eyes, it's incredible. And again, Michaela Hoover, who is a James Gunn regular, Cat Grant in Superman, and a bunch of James Gunn stuff.
Fine ass chick plays Chopper.
That blonde lady, the Daily Planet.
Yeah, Cat Grant. She's been in a bunch of James Gunn stuff. She's one of his regulars.
She's great.
And
she's got a great voice for it. She's perfect for this.
Yeah,
a woman has always played Chopper, a male character, I should point out.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, like
a woman's always played Luffy.
A woman's always played Ash from Pokemon. So yeah, but Tony Chopper backstory, episode 7, we learn all about it, and it's very moving, it's very emotional.
So as we said, the Ishi 20, who are the doctors of this country, the greatest doctors in the world, but beyond that, literally just the only doctors, in a great panel that literally they've only ever been shown in 2 panels, and these all pink scrubs with their arms up. And for some reason, that's exactly how they're cast in this. They're just guys with pink scrubs with their arms up. Have been taken by Wapol. This means there are no doctors. This has inspired a former pirate named Dr. Hiriluk to take up the role of being a doctor. Unfortunately, he is the worst doctor in the world. And he is up against Dr. Korea, who is Katie Siegel, who is a witch and 137 years old, she will later say, but also the greatest doctor on the island. And they are the only ones who maintain autonomy free from Wapol.
And then and of course she has her distinctive look, and Kiriluk has his distinctive hairstyle of like sticking out on the sides and the top.
A cross, a medical cross is what.
Oh yeah. Oh great, yeah.
Something that they again translated directly from the anime and the manga and to live action, and somehow it works.
He has a hat that fits his hair that sticks straight. Yeah, like that kind of stuff happens a lot in this show.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And
now, while being on the run, he walks into another person on the run, which is Tony Chopper. It is the version of him that is being hunted by humanity and, again, not being left alone by deer. He immediately feels sympathy for this creature and takes him in to a way where, by the end of it, he is saying, "You are my son."
Mm-hmm. And you get, like, stuff where Tony's healed. He's like, "All right, you're free to go." And then Chopper's like, "Oh, actually, my stomach hurts. Like, can I stay with you?" And it's like really sweet stuff to where he eventually does kind of accept that Chopper is now his adoptive son, even though you're a reindeer. You're my guy. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, all that stuff is great. And again, just Chopper is so cute. I can't even stand it. Like he's just a little guy. But he can also
any
Hulk
character
out.
yes, he can. And any character that adds humanity to him, like when Luffy says, "Why did he get so mad when I tried to touch that pirate flag?" which we will learn about the history of that in this episode.
Yes.
Dr. Korea
Cherry
says,
Blossom.
"That boy has a wound on his heart." She specifically says, "That boy. He is a child. He is personified as a being. He is not, she does not say that deer, that monster, that creature." Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Foolish
But he's also referred to as a monster by the bad people and stuff, and he can again monster out and become a big version of him that is like
an abominable snowman, basically.
Yeah. But Chopper, and he's so sad when he cries and stuff, man. I can't even take
what's the turning point when Hiriluk does decide he has to kind of make him go his own way? Hiriluk regrettably tries to force him to go out on his own.
Yeah, he's like, "I don't even want you anymore." It's the classic thing.
Hiriluk's entire thing is that he is working on a miraculous cure that he believes medicine can cure a country. He wants to root out the evil that has taken over Drum. He believes in this incredible story that he tells upon seeing cherry blossoms that inspired him to be fully healed one day, that if he brings cherry blossoms to the frozen island of Drum, he will heal the island. And when this sort of starts to go sour, he basically just says, like, "Chopper, I'm kind of not worth it. You kind of need to be on your own again." Right?
That's right. And so Chopper spends a while in the Valley of Death, where there's supposedly the cure-all mushroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Hiriluk is sick, and so Chopper finds this mushroom that he thinks can cure him. And then Hiriluk knows, of course, that it's actually because in the book of herbs and things, there's a skull and crossbones picture next to this mushroom, which Chopper thinks, "Oh, that means it's like a cure-all because it's the pirate flag or whatever." And then
Hiriluk
actually means that it's poisonous.
Yeah. "I was a former pirate. What is a pirate? What's a pirate? A pirate is someone who's free." He has the exact same belief system that Luffy has of what a pirate is, right?
Yeah. And I don't think anybody else has, like any of an outside pirate entity has had the same mindset that Luffy did, not to this point. Yeah.
Not that we've seen yet.
So Hiriluk knows he's dying, and he eats this mushroom that Chopper brings him, thinking it's a cure-all. But of course, Hiriluk knows it's a deadly, poisonous mushroom that's going to kill him. But he doesn't care because he's about to die anyway. And then he goes to the castle to confront Wapol.
While this is occurring, he gets word that the 20 doctors have gotten sick. And in his mind, if those 20 doctors are wiped out, this island will be wiped out. As a doctor, it is his responsibility to go save them. He runs, he learns it's a trick. And one of my favorite things ever, he says, Thank God none of the
Oh, it's
doctors are
just a
sick.
trick,
He
yeah.
does, yeah, exactly. Oh, you tricked me. Thank God, right?
Thank
is what he
God,
says.
yeah,
I've
The doctors
always
aren't
loved
sick.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he gives a great monologue about when
The
does a
great.
man truly die and all this
When
stuff.
does a man truly die?
when he's
Is
forgotten.
the number of tattoos that One Piece fans have,
Oh,
when a
sure.
man is forgotten, the talk of the Will of D here, and most importantly, and when I talk about the religion that I base around One Piece,
Mhm.
this is cut out, but specifically in the manga, he talks about a concept called inherited will. I will
Yeah.
just say for you right here, inherited will is basically my entire belief system of existence. So this again
Is it?
is one of the most important speeches in One Piece history. What he's saying: when does a man
Sure.
truly die?
No, that's incredible.
Yeah. And then
And then
you know,
Dalton cries and says, "Can the same be said for a country?" And Hiriluk says, "If the will is there," like he says, like if the people believe it and choose to. And then he says, something terrible is going to happen. A monster is going to come.
yeah,
Please, I beg of
my
you,
son.
do not hurt him. He is
He
my
is my
son.
son.
Yeah.
Blows
Dude.
himself up.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Chopper finds out about this. He goes to try to rescue Hiriluk, and then Dalton confronts him outside and is like, "Look, you can't even defeat me. What chance do you have against Wapol and everybody in there? You have to go and like get stronger and like come back later."
Yeah, but the heartbreaking stuff with Correa is like, you stupid boy, like that killed him. You killed him. Like she's straight up saying like he knew it was poison, but you gave it to him. She's like really putting it
Yeah.
on him hard. Like, and he's crying.
Incredible
Crazy
manga
scene.
panel. In the middle of Hiriluk's speech, when it cuts to her and she says, "A toast to you, old man," or "You old kook," and then she takes a shot.
Man,
Yeah. It's great.
These are montages Colin will watch while doing stuff in my attic alone. Busy.
yeah.
Where I'm like, do I want to cry today? And I will watch these scenes basically. So I
Yeah.
know these more than I know, my own name. Like these are in my bones. I cannot emphasize that enough.
I watched the anime of this arc today, and it's like it's just as affecting. Like both the live action, like especially when Chopper's on the boat and we see that Correa has found his masterwork, and they launch it into the sky, and the cherry blossoms fall, and Chopper cries. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He doesn't like long goodbyes.
No, he does not. And Mike, I love that. And I will shout out, and maybe you have this on your list of items at the end, like One Piece and stuff. But there are these things called episode of, where they do just make movies that are the arcs. And there is one called Episode of Chopper that is literally just the movie of Drum Kingdom. It's like an hour and a half and they do the whole story or whatever. And they're just like, I don't know, what if like future crew members were part of the crew now? And it's like, before Chopper, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like Oda at that point is just like, I've sold like so much of this stuff. It's like, I'll give you the rights to anything. Like, it doesn't matter, man. I've merchandised the hell out of this. So yeah, you could just watch this movie basically, and it is pretty good actually.
It is its own kind of
Colin,
standalone
I did watch
story.
I watched this scene in the anime version of this scene online and stuff. Just the Hiriluk monologue and Chopper and all that stuff, and it's so good in the anime too.
When
and
Dalton
the music,
cries in the anime, when
Mhm.
Dalton cries and says, "Can the same be said about a country?" That is the moment where truly I'm alone by myself, just like doing like fist in the air, like I can't even believe how hard it's hitting, dog.
And he's like such a
truly,
big dude in
what,
the anime too. He's like this huge ass dude, like crying.
Oh, he's like, double their size.
Yeah.
Yes, and just so moved to the words of this old man. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Colin, what Oda and One Piece is to you is what like A Song of Ice and Fire is to me.
I know, dog.
Where I'm watching.
So crazy.
When they say chaos is a ladder, I'm pumping my fist.
Yes.
But there's so many great moments like that in Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire, and like when Prince Baelor comes out and says, "I will stand with Dunk," like that's that moment for me. And man, So I totally get
Just
where you come from.
payoff. I mean, it's just payoff in your heart of hearts when you are a fan of something, and it really builds up to that moment where you are just emotionally bought in, intelligently understand what's happening, and it's just that cocktail of like, oh my god, he's making it work. That is so much of what makes great fiction and what this fucking podcast is about, man. You know,
Yeah.
it's like why we like this shit. So
The Oberyn Martell, Pedro Pascal scene when he
God damn it.
stands for Tyrion in the trial by combat. So good.
Did you see how quickly Pedro, who was right behind Michael B. Jordan, was to just be like, yes, like the second Michael B. Jordan won Best Actor. I'm so positive on Pedro again, man. I'm so
we love
happy with
Pedro.
him. We love
He needs to
him.
grow his mustache back, though. I didn't like the clean shaven look.
No, I was
It doesn't work for him.
dog. What's happening?
He gave his mustache to Leo, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Fixed it off
Anyway,
his face. It was so weird.
Yeah.
But like the parallels to, like, for me, like George R. R. Martin and Song of Ice and Fire and everything, because like when you're explaining about Tony Chopper's name and stuff, like when I'm explaining, like, no, you see, like in Game of Thrones, there's the red apple phosphates,
the
and the green
family
apple
tree,
phosphates,
yeah, like
split off.
It is. There are humans in this world who it's like you're not a storyteller, you're a world builder. There's a level up to storytelling that's like, no, I've got all of this figured out, where I just look on in awe, where I'm like, but how does your brain work? Like, how do you write a check? Like, how do you turn your TV on?
And that's what, George R. R. Martin is to me, because like the Dunk and Egg stories are giving you background details to Game of Thrones books that were written before that. And it's like, it all fits into the world. It's like, how does he have all these details in his head? It's insane.
It's insane.
It's insane. Yeah, but Tony Chopper. What happens?
He's alone. Then he gets taken in by Dr. Korea, who says, I will teach you how to be a real doctor. And that is obviously when he starts to get on the path of becoming an actual medical professional, which is what takes him to being at the top of this castle. Now he is healing the Straw Hat crew. We're back to modern day.
Yeah, and Dr. Reen kind of takes him on as her assistant.
What does that mean? The antibodies are working. That's right.
Yeah, and I love the dynamic with Dr. Hiriluk and Dr. I can never remember her name. What the?
Korea.
It's literally Korea. I know it sounds like you're saying Korea, the country, but it's Kurhea. Korea.
Korea. But they have such this interesting dynamic where she kind of is tough love, right? She kind of has a prickly exterior, but deep down she does really care about people. And so she's so well characterized in the show, and I think Katie Sagal does a great job. I'm sure Jamie Lee Curtis would have been good too, but I think Katie Sagal
fantastic.
Yeah,
Katie Sagal, who was Pam Bundy.
Yes,
Dog, I have loved this woman. Taranga Leela. I have loved this woman my entire life, dog. I am so happy she is in this part. She looks incredible at this part. She's my mom's age. She's 71 years old.
Wow.
And she's playing a woman where I'm like, Sanji, you idiot, stay in that castle with her. Like, become her chef. Slave.
It's this very distinctive look where she's kind of like this rock star doctor.
Yeah.
She's hippie. She's Janis Joplin is literally what she's based on. Again,
right.
Like Oda's just being like, and then you'll be this person, and then you're over here.
Sure.
Yeah.
And she's basically explaining the story of Chopper to Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates during episode 7, and then episode 8, the big finale, of course, Wapol. It's the Wapol attacks, right? He makes a bunch of henchmen that are like metal guys.
He
that are attacking
swallowed
the
up
village.
all the bodyguards that were with him and made them into like monsters.
Metal
monsters, again, not in the manga.
Not in the anime, yeah.
Give some enemies to Zoro here. That's a great idea. But otherwise, we get the showdown of his two henchmen, Luffy mainly fighting Wapol, Chopper standing up for himself and sort of getting revenge in a way, right?
Yeah. And again, I love Luffy fighting Wapol, and Wapol's just like, can you take this seriously? I'm trying to kill you. And Luffy's just like laughing. And then he
doesn't take it serious until he tries to blow up Dr. Hiriluk's Jolly Roger, which is then where
he jumps in front of it.
Immediately Luffy goes, don't you understand what this symbol is? And that's where Tony's like, I'm
down with you, Luffy.
Yeah.
It's not to be mocked or
because, again,
shot
like you said,
at.
he's the only. Hiriluk and Luffy have the same understanding of what it means to be a pirate, and so Chopper then understands that and says, "You know what? I like you, Luffy."
Yeah, maybe Shanks had that too, but yeah, that's Chopper's understanding of the pirate. That's
Yeah.
why he can join the Straw Hats eventually. But I like them standing up, little team up from Sanji, and even Vivi stands up and has
Oh,
that
yeah,
speech
that's good.
where she's like, "You didn't intimidate my father, you're not going to intimidate me." Like, I like that she had her moment with Wapol too. So, yeah.
Yeah.
She's
You
your
have the
peacock
gum
spinners.
aerosol.
Didn't mention those. Yeah, you've got that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, yeah, like Usopp and Zoro are down in the village fighting the henchmen. And there's
Dalton,
also Wapol's 2 henchmen that he has with him. One has like
Chess, and
sticky
Morrow.
afro powers where he can take off part of his hair and it's like Velcro.
Yep.
um,
One's an archer.
yeah,
Yeah.
In the manga, they get swallowed and combined into one being.
Okay.
Is the thing. So kind of takes the story. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're fighting
I like the
Wapol in this
tag team
castle,
antics.
just like trashing the castle. Yeah, but eventually, obviously, they do defeat Wapol. And yeah,
And they know that they
Dalton,
need a doctor on their crew, and Luffy straight up says, "Chopper, come with me." And Chopper gives this, "Well, I've never actually fit in anywhere." And Luffy just says, "Shut up, you're coming." Right?
Yeah.
This huge iconic moment of him just yelling it out, and he has his way. It's like there's gonna be no bullshit about this. Stay true to yourself. You
I
belong
can't
to
be
be
with humans.
us.
I'm just a reindeer. Shut up, you're coming with us. Yeah.
I have a blue nose, and
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I love it.
Well, James Gunn actually needs me for his universe, and get on board.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he has a scene with Dr. Korea where he's like, "I'm gonna go with them," and she's like, "Oh, you're like my assistant or whatever. You can't go with them. What do you do? What are you talking about?" But then secretly she packs his gear and stuff in the sled, so she does approve of him going. She's just giving him that tough love again.
He pulls out these things called rumble balls, and Nami goes, "What are those?" And he goes, "You'll see." And I'm like, "What is this show? This is insane."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, this is what I'm worried about with having Chopper as part of the crew in every
Oh,
episode.
yeah, dog.
It's going to be insanely expensive, right?
Most of his scenes were characters off screen going, "Who's that? He looks so cool." And
What
then
are
a
you?
reverse shot of Chopper like walking towards them before it cuts
Yeah.
away, where I'm like, "Oh no." Yeah.
So I just wonder how they're going to handle
But-
that with him having to be in it so much as part of the
But-
crew. Yeah.
And there's a screenshot, Jacob, that you sent to us where Dr. Korea has taken the cure that Dr.
Right.
Hiriluk figured out, the island cure. He's put it in the cannon. Dalton helps her, fires it into the sky. It releases cherry blossoms for the entire island to experience. We cut to the entire crew on the Mary watching this, and Zoro picks up Chopper.
Chopper
puts him
starts
on his
crying
shoulder.
because
Chopper's
he's
bawling.
sad he's leaving home.
He
Zoro picks
sees,
him
you
up,
know,
puts
yeah.
him on his shoulder in a
And
fatherly
they're all
way.
together. They're all in a wide shot together. And I'm just like, this
it's
is
amazing.
what it's all about. I'm like crying while I'm watching this. It's horrible.
No. And
My
even
cat's
just
not well. I'm like singing the One Piece like theme song to myself. Like, it's horrible. Like, I'm just like, this is all I have.
and
I love it. It's great.
yeah,
I
and
want a
even
million
with
more
Vivi,
seasons.
yeah,
Please.
just real quick, and then we'll get over there. But she's like, just drop me off. I've already asked too much of you. And then Luffy's like, what do you mean? You think we're not going to go and help save your kingdom from
You need
Baroque
help.
Works?
You're our friend.
You're one of us now.
And it's like,
Like,
friend.
you're not getting out of
What are you
this.
talking about? Exactly like Chopper. They're all on the same level in Luffy's mind. Yeah.
Your journey is my journey. Like, I'm going to get the One Piece, but first we got to help your kingdom. It's the same path, you know? To him, there's no difference.
Yeah.
Help my
'Cause
friend.
If you see injustice, you act up. That's
You're
also
one of
a
us,
huge
Phoebe.
recurring theme of One Piece. So
That's what a pirate does. Love it.
And then we get a little tease at the end with Miss All Sunday, and we finally see Mr. Zero, aka Sir Crocodile, Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
Showed up for one day.
The actual quote unquote biggest actor in this show. He was one of the first people cast. We didn't realize it was only going to be a guest card for season 2. Obviously, main recurring for season 3, set up as the big bad of the show.
Yeah, for Alabasta, he's the big for that arc. So.
Sir Crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
So looking forward to that.
Should we hit final thoughts?
Let's hit a final thought. Let's do it right after this. Yes.
We're back. We're laughing about how this is going to be a 3-hour episode, listeners, and we do apologize. But as they just joked about, this is all I have in my life is talking about this show. So
Well,
if
don't
we
say
cut
that.
it short, even then we birthday carded it. Truly, by the end, we're like, and then this happens, and they wrap it up, and there's a post-credit scene. Okay, goodbye. We didn't talk about. There's a whole episode of Smoker and Tashigi busting up Baroque's works.
Yeah.
We didn't
Right.
talk about
Miss Baseball
any of the
Lady.
Garp and Kobe stuff in the background.
Stop making
too,
baseball
yeah.
jokes.
Yeah.
Now you got me doing it. And those were characters that existed
10 or
but never
11?
appeared, right?
No, it was written, but all this stuff is implied backstory that they instead make text to, again,
Use
introduce
stuff.
Smoker earlier because he's such a big part of the next arc that it does make sense to fold him in now.
Yeah,
Sure.
brilliant stuff.
And again,
Very impressed.
big news for season 3. Zolo Mariduena, our
Mhm.
Karate Kid, our Cobra Kai, playing Portgas
Cobra
D.
Nefertari.
Ace.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Colin, who is Portgas D. Ace?
It's a
That's
big
the one-
character. I wouldn't want to spoil it.
You don't
There's
want
a
to
lot
ruin
of
it for
talk
him, yeah.
Of familial connections. We didn't talk about that entire scene where Roger talks to Garp before he's executed, and they literally
Right.
say, like, I have a son. I would love to know what you guys think about that. We don't talk about,
Mhm.
I mean, Jacob, you implied it, but literally Dr. Correa's last line is, so the will of D exists. What are you talking about? Are you talking about Gold Roger? Oh, is that what they call him now? No, his name was Gold
Gold
D.
D.
Roger.
Roger.
Yeah.
Right.
What
Of
does the
course.
middle name D mean? Again, I'm 36
I
years
have
old.
no idea.
I've got a theory. I have no clue.
Again, there's a character that shows up for about 5 seconds named Monkey D. Dragon.
Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So the Will
Go
of D.
on.
Yeah.
Yep.
the Will of D. But, I mean, that's our guy, Zolo Mariduena. We love him, the Blue Beetle himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Blue Beetle himself. But I think shit's really crazy right now. I don't know if you've existed on planet Earth recently. And it's been nice to have programming that's like stand up to bullies, help your friends, and maybe, just
Yeah.
maybe, it'll all work out. Like if you take care of the people you love and don't falter on your beliefs and your values, maybe you can come through on top. And that's why I'm back on the anime, because
I
it's a
feel
good
like-
message and energy.
It's a
I like
big
that.
trend of media right now because maybe things are so shitty. But think about it, because we have this One Piece show, Monkey D. Luffy. What a great character. We have Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Dunk and Egg. Dunk is just a good guy, and he's trying to stand up for what's right. Right. We have Superman. That's what Superman was all about. Right. So
Mhm.
we have this is a prevalent theme right now where it's like it's good to be good just for its own sake. Like,
I'm
you know
a
what I mean?
punk pirate. Yes, I am.
yeah. Yeah.
Why would you not want to be a good person? We've had this, there's this whole, everybody says in shitification now, but there was this 80s sellout culture. We're all like, yo, it would suck to be bad. And that eroded and eroded to now where the point is like, if you're in the manosphere, you should be constantly grifting people by calling them losers, to get their attention. And it's like, to what end and for what reason would you act that way? That is so crazy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Colin, you need to be looks maxing and gesture gooning.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing that, I don't know.
You
what-
guys would describe me as looks maxing, right?
yeah, well,
I
are
mean-
you smashing your face with a hammer to reshape
Yes.
your bones?
I'm putting
Are
in those
you-
fake pads, and I do
Yeah.
wear a wig. So
Mm. Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Are you
yeah,
want to make sure you're not spiking your cortisol by getting irrationally upset about something?
I just want to get looks mogged.
I don't know.
listeners,
It's all
if you're not
terrible.
viewers of this podcast, looking on YouTube, one, Mike talked about his 3D printed hat. It's incredible. You sewed that band on it. It looks incredible. I've got my chopper behind me. Jacob, I'm just now realizing you have the
Oh, yes, I
Funko
got my
Pop Pirate
Pirate
Deadpool.
That's my contribution to
of
this.
pirates.
The one character
Yes,
that
he's a
could
pirate
show up on
Let
One
me
Piece.
Flip him in the back here. Oh, the Deadpool? No. It makes sense. It makes sense.
He's a pirate. That's my only pirate theme thing that I could think. So I thought
He
I'd
shows
put
up
that
on the
in.
Going Merry.
I
Monkey
set
D,
off
what's the D
on-
stand for? You know what? Don't tell me.
Monkey Deadpool.
He would say that,
Luffy.
freaking Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
The
Mint Mobile.
the main theme song is so close to the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song. It is so dangerously close.
Right. But yeah, hey, we love pirates.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? I know I just keep saying it, but like I love when people are so obsessive about a thing like Colin you are with One Piece, and it just reminds me of my love of Song of Ice and Fire, where I can just obsess over the details.
I used to have a
And
thing.
yeah, it's like a religion to you. It's why I think the Song of Ice and Fire series is like one of the greatest works of written narrative fiction of all time. And
And we live in, adult children paradise now where literally there's no end. I can buy this thing. I've got these 3 devil fruits. Like the merchandising, it's endless. I mean, I can have One Piece clothes, you can do anything.
Right. And I just remember back when I was in high school, there was the weird kid with the One Piece backpack. He would have like a monkey D. Luffy picture on his backpack or something.
Naruto forehead protector on.
Yeah,
he's
running around like this.
Yep, Mike, there we go. He's got his Yu-Gi-Oh cards spilling out of his pocket. Yeah,
Right.
Absolutely. And just know that as he turns that corner, the beating he was going to receive from a quote unquote normal straight person. God bless him if he still likes anime. That's all I will say.
He's got a
He's going in the locker and getting a swirly.
Yes.
Guy with
he
a
didn't
straw
bring a
hat.
gun to school. God bless that kid.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
I'm
gonna hit Gear 5.
Everything that was niche and nerdy when we were kids is now literally the mainstream culture, which is so fascinating to me that if you grew up in the 80s and you played D&D, people would think you're some kind of social outcast, and now everybody loves D&D.
And Mike said it, but Michael B. Jordan will be on a press circuit, and an interviewer will be like, "What's your favorite, fights that you inspired for Creed?" And he's like, "When like Luffy beats up Arlong, I mean that's like top 10 generational." And you're just like, you're saying that, and you're not embarrassed?
Yes.
Like, God bless you.
Right.
Exactly. And it's just great.
Yeah, but that's what this podcast is all about, from niche to normie.
That's how far it is.
It happened with Star Wars. It happened with
You don't have to
Marvel.
be obsessed. I hope people are watching this who haven't read the manga, who are like Jacob, haven't seen the anime, who then get into it like Mike did. I would love that too. There is so much stuff to find and enjoy. I would love if there was. I almost guarantee there will be a 3rd season. I would love if there was a 4th, but then I really have no expectation beyond that. Truly,
How far
if they do all of Alabasta, I'll be happy. That's all that matters.
Alabasta feels like it'll be a whole season. You could do a whole. So Jacob likes the globetrotting aspect. Alabasta is kind of a season in a place.
Yes.
Okay.
The way
I like
that
the adventures.
It has been, I think we will limit that, and there's enough to go like village to village to village, but I think we will not island hop next season. I would agree with that. I don't know. So maybe that'll burn viewers. I don't know, Jacob. I don't know.
Well, I'm with it as long as it lasts. I mean, once you get to Monkey D. Luffy being 40 years old, it might be a little strange. But so there's only a certain time limit you have to do it, right? But I would love as many seasons as they're willing to make Netflix.
I saw the actor who plays Dragon be like, "Oh, that Oda entrusted me to take on this role for the next decade." And I just want to be like, Dragon has had 4 lines over the 20 plus years of this manga, you fool. They're never getting to your stuff. What are you talking about?
Right. Again, it's like A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the showrunner saying like, yeah, I'd love to do 5 seasons now and then wait 15 years and do 5 seasons when they're older, like the actors are older. I was like, that sounds great. Not going to happen, but I would love it.
You won't.
Yeah. But we're lucky to get what we get. So,
well, Arabasta is one of the most.
Question
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I keep stepping on you.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to ask you guys, since we have this successful live action One Piece adaptation, what other live action anime adaptation would you like to see? Or do you think it would be a good idea to do more of these? Obviously, we had Cowboy Bebop.
I would like to see Emily Rudd, who plays Nami in this,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
play her role in Dungeon Meshi, Delicious in Dungeon. Maybe something we'll talk about
Colin,
in the
wait.
future.
Ah.
I would like to.
Gotcha.
I would also like to talk about, or I would like to see Boku no Hero Academy be adapted. I believe that's in the works.
Was that
Naruto's
My Hero Academia?
yeah, My Hero Academia.
Stop saying
yeah,
the Japanese names. I don't know what those are.
That's what they're called. I'd like to see a Chainsaw Manu. You'll
Yes.
guess what that one is.
That's the whole mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, My Hero Academia, a big one. Obviously, I mentioned Attack on Titan, which was a big one of the 2010s.
I would say Attack on Titan and Naruto are the two biggest, and then obviously like Evangelion. But we've talked about on this podcast.
Jujutsu
now.
Kaisen.
Don't
would
ever
be
do
big.
that, or we'll kill you.
But you can't do Evangelion.
JoJo would be hard because it's so
JoJo
again
would be
so
insane.
stylized. That
JoJo's
there are
hard.
JoJo movies. There are Japanese JoJo movies, and they suck.
Japan has done Attack on Titan live actions too, so I haven't seen them, but
right. But like a Netflix produced, because Netflix seems to like doing these anime live actions. I don't know.
Taika Waititi was going to do Akira for a long time. Remember?
Thank God he
Oh
didn't.
yeah, but that would just be
Can
a
you
movie,
imagine?
probably.
Can you imagine?
No, I don't want. I refuse to. You can't inflict that upon me.
Yeah.
Akira.
And the Death Note movie, terrible.
No.
Even though they have the
Biggest
Keith
misuse
Stanfield
of Lakeith
as well.
Stanfield ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have done accurate, quote unquote, Death Note and
Or as
L
L.
movies in Japan. But if they did an actual Death Note series, it would be dope as hell.
Yeah,
up
they did it
up to
right.
6.
I mean,
You
they
don't do
got
it past
Willem
L's
Dafoe
death.
to be the what's his name?
Ryuk, the
yeah,
Shinigami.
Yep.
the Shinigami.
Yeah. So I got some numbers real
My
quick.
fucking face is freaky.
Shinigami's like apples. They didn't even need to do makeup for that. Anyway, so live action. Logetown to Drum Island, 8 hours. One Pace, 10 hours. OG, 12 hours. So you're saving 4 hours to get the same arc in live action, saving 2 hours by doing One Pace. Just some numbers that I had.
Because I want that's what I need. Because I want the story, but I don't want to watch 1,000 episodes particularly. I just
So the
don't
thing
have
with
time.
One Pace is it's a fan group that re-edits the episodes, so it's not like here's the order to go on Netflix. You have to go to their website and kind of figure it out. It's a little bit of stuff, but you can do it. But anyway, if you want to watch the anime, there's ways to do it. And my last note is, remember when people were watching Severance and they're like, "Oh, the theme song is like, Mark is hot, Holly's hot," you know? That's this show. The casting director is crazy. Everybody on the show is hot. Every single person, top to bottom. It's
Pretty
crazy.
much.
I was gonna say
I have body
Nami
dysmorphia
looking
from
good in
watching
those
this show.
outfits.
Yeah, Emily Rudd. There's some
Yeah.
talk about some cheesecake stuff. When they're just like the bathing suit scenes, I was like, oh wow, they're fully embracing Oda. This is great.
Yeah.
But like Sanji would have got a nosebleed and been landed on his head upside down. Like they still dial it back, you know?
Would have been jacking off basically, yeah. But instead he's just like, even when Miss All Sunday attacks the boat and he goes, "Why would we have to leave with you, lovely?" or whatever he says, it's like that is the perfect
It's
level
charming.
of characterization.
Yeah.
For him. He just needs to be chatting up every female character he sees.
And he spoke
Sanji,
a
I love
couple
his
SIGs this
haircut,
time
His,
too.
his hair that goes in his
They
eye.
nailed the floppiness this time. Good lord.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say about Taz Skylar, and I think again he is one of the best actors on this show. His into the character, he said, and his contribution is the costume designer lets me wear rings that I've designed. I created all of Sanji's rings. I'm very into ring making. And some of the episodes he wears these gigantic gaudy rings that are like huge, where I'm like, no, that's too much. Sanji does not wear rings.
Dial it back.
Yeah.
Stop,
That's
man.
funny.
Interesting. I'm just into like all the outfit changes they have, and like when it's
The
cold
style
weather,
of
they all
the
have
fashion.
like their cold
Yep.
weather coats that they wear and stuff like that.
Yep.
They have some nice clothes. Like,
Iconic
where do you keep all
fits.
those
Little
clothes on
garden
the ship?
outfits are awesome. His
Yeah.
Sanji's fit with the tucked in polo is like fire, dude. I don't
And it's like
know.
just from an alt cover. Like it wasn't even in like it was just like a one-off cover randomly. Like we're gonna make that garment, you know?
Oh, when Zoro's wearing his bucket hat, I know that's like a
Yo,
classic Zoro
Zoro's
thing.
iconic bucket hat. I truly out loud while I was watching that said to myself, Zoro's iconic bucket hat. Like I nodded when I saw it. I was
Yeah.
like, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a ton of fun, and it just made me want to watch the anime more and whatever. I love these characters, and it's good vibes. One Piece is good vibes, so
It is good vibes.
yeah.
Sure.
And again, that's two back-to-back shows that we've talked about, Night of the Seven Kingdoms and this show that just have good vibes and I've just been, I don't know how well this is doing, like popular, in terms of viewership, but I hope it's doing well, and I hope people are
Again, I don't
vibing
even
with
know
it.
how I feel about Netflix anymore. Like, obviously, we're talking about them now that
Yeah.
they've lost this merger. I just don't know what their direction forward is or what it would have been. I feel very nervous about all streaming landscapes. So the fact that it exists, I'll never get, Blu-rays of these 2 seasons, but as long as Netflix exists, they'll be
Right.
on a server somewhere. I don't know.
I want the
Yeah,
behind the
I mean,
scenes.
again with HBO, like HBO is like my favorite streaming service. I think they've been nailing it with the content recently, with The Pit,
Yeah.
and all these shows that I love to watch. And it's like, oh, they're getting bought by Paramount. Who knows what's going to happen in a year? And yeah, I'm definitely nervous about that. Of course, the DCU, like it's all up in flux. So who knows? Who knows?
Enjoy it while you can get it, I guess. Enjoy what you have.
Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're also reanimating One Piece from zero.
Yes, and that would be a great
Wow.
entry point. Funimation, this Toei, this horrible company with the bad pacing is getting usurped by Wilt Studios, who does Attack on Titan.
Or they might
Everybody's
make
very excited.
Tighten it up a little bit. Yeah, so maybe that's a way to get into it too.
Tighten it up.
Now,
Hey!
tighten it up. Now we must be done. I certainly implore that at 3 hours we must.
We're looking
be
at
done.
almost
We've
3
gone
hours
on
here. Yeah.
Okay.
A hell of a journey, Jacob. We're going on a bit of a journey next week too. Would you say?
3
Yes,
hours?
next week we'll be going on a journey to the outer space, you might say. But we'll be talking about the new movie coming out, Project Hail Mary, starring Ryan Gosling.
Exciting.
And yeah, directed by the the Spider-Man the Spider-Verse guys.
Written by Andy Weir, Behind the Martian, huge best-selling book.
Yes, his sort of realistic science fiction, near future type stuff about maybe the sun going extinct or whatever. So we're gonna have to see what that's all about. And then we'll be, of course, going back to our Miyazaki long form at the end of March, and then a Whatcha coming up on 390, episode 390. So almost to 400. I don't know what we're gonna do for episode 400. We gotta figure that out, I guess.
That can't be right. That can't be right.
We're all going to finish One Piece,
Yeah.
the anime, by the time we get there.
Why did Xbox never make the 400?
I don't know.
They stop at 360?
No, they made the Series X.
360 is like 180. So it would be 420.
Well,
that we've got an episode planned.
That we know what we're doing.
We're not worried about the 420 episode.
Right. We'll have our friend X Kite on.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Oh man, absolutely.
Maybe.
Hotbox the pod.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we're the Straw Hat Podcasters.
That's right.
True. And you could always check us out. You don't need a log post to find us. You can actually find us at normies_like_us on all social media. Rate, review, subscribe. Tell us your favorite episode. Tell us your favorite Devil Fruit Power. I'll ask you guys real quick. We saw a bunch this season. What was your favorite you saw?
I like Smoker.
Smoker
it looked great.
Cool.
It looked great.
The smoke effect looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd have to be Smoker. And I like, again, smoking 2 cigars at once.
And apparently Oda did say he's immune to lung cancer. So I wouldn't mind getting that fruit.
That's good. Well, his whole persona is about smoke, so I would hope so.
Yeah.
I love his jacket with all the
type
cigars.
Of smoke, I wouldn't mind.
Hey. Practical Power too. It's pretty sick. It seems like it's pretty OP. I'm looking forward to seeing more of this Smoker's power.
Well, he goes in that guy's mouth and like makes him pass out. I don't love that. I don't love all that smoke. He's immune to lung cancer. I'm not. Get that shit out of me, dog.
Right. I also think I also like Miss All Sunday, Nico Robin. I think her
man.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more of her in the future seasons when teenagers decide to adopt a depressed 28-year-old.
Yeah, I like that, Mike. And of course, 14-year-olds did write into Oda. Can she make her boobs sprout in place? And he wrote, yes.
Of course.
Minor spoiler. There's gags when she is hanging out with him sometimes where she puts her hands out of Luffy's hat and he looks like Chopper and he's playing with Chopper. Like, look, I got antlers. And it's just really cute. And I love
that.
It's very wholesome.
Yeah.
It's very fun. So
I'm probably gonna have to watch some One Piece anime now. The more I think about it, the more it's probably gonna happen.
It's a good time.
All right. We hope you do too, listeners. Check us out on YouTube. And otherwise, we've been your hosts. This is the Normie Pirate Crew with Captain Smoker Colin.
Mikey D. Luffy, king of the podcast.
And this is Rora Jacozoa. Zoro.
Yeah.
The greatest
Hell yeah.
sword fighter in the land.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next time. Never give up on your dreams.
That's right.
And always stay true to the pirate way. And we'll catch you next time.
Absolutely.
I will be king of the podcast.
Bye.
Wahoo!
Wahoo!